it up over to He tied it!
Oh! WBCFM and HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics are moving on to round 2 of the playoffs after eliminating Orlando in 5 games last night, 120-89 at TD Garden. This was a close game into the third quarter, but Magic star Paolo Banchero picked up his 5th foul, and the Green never looked back. Jason Tatum led the way with 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. Celtics will now play either the Knicks or Detroit in the Eastern Conference semifinals. That series is headed to a Game 6 after the Pistons avoided elimination with a 106-103 win at Madison Square Garden last night. Indiana finished off Milwaukee in 5, 119-118 in overtime on a Tyrese Halliburton layup with 1 second to go. And Denver beat the Clippers late last night, 131-115 to take a 3-2 series lead. The Patriots have released long snapper Joe Cardona, the longest tenured member of the team. You will remember the Patriots drafted long snapper Julian Ashby last weekend. Also, former Patriots offensive lineman Jake Andrews was claimed off of waivers by Houston. The Red Sox hit 5 homers. They won their 3rd in a row, 10-2 in Toronto last night. Wilyer Abreu led the offense with a 3-run shot. Garrett Crochet, 7 strong innings for the win. The Sox will visit the Blue Jays again tonight. And the NHL announced last night that the draft lottery will be on Monday. The Bruins finished with the 5th worst record in the league. They have an 8.5% chance of getting the top pick. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
When has that been necessary to fact check?
and Hardy
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
on 98.5.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT booting up.
Let me hear you say, boo, boo, boo.
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that. Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fun. Having some fun.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go. And April 25th, 1992, I think we all remember where we were. And then in the back, Mona's getting like a pig spit. She's got Devil's Threesome.
Well, last weekend was the 33rd anniversary of the final episode. What did you do? Did you have a viewing party?
No, but it was weird. I got real misty, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, you know who's the boss? Love. Love's the boss. I was reading that listening to that Lorne Michaels book, and every time that they couldn't find a guest, they would joke that Tony Danza was going to be the guest because Tony Danza every week tried to get to be the guest host of Saturday Night Live, and he never succeeded. Tony Danza apparently was hanging around.
He had his own talk show for a while. You remember that?
Oh, well, Riz, I mentioned this on the air not so long ago. When Riz from the YouTube chat, you can watch us live on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub. He sent an email of thanks, actually, because Opie and Anthony, when they were on XM, did a bit when he had that talk show. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It's something that you should look at. There's a couple of them.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a producer go out to the line. And, you know, the Tony Danza audience is stupid. And they're not from New York. And they're like, you know, sitting there. And Anthony does a perfect Tony Danza. Like a perfect, pitch perfect Tony Danza. And so he would say to the woman they would find a woman. They say, hey, Tony wants to talk to you. And he'd small talk you. Hey, you know, I can't do Tony Danza. But he's like, so this is a better Tony Danza. He's like, yeah, you know. And she's, oh, it's so great to hear from you. I saw you in Atlantic City. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I tried my best. I love the song and dance. And it goes on for 5 minutes. He goes, I'll tell you what. You know what? Why don't you and you and your friends come backstage? Would you like that? And they're like, oh my God, yeah. I find that meeting people helps me relax before the show. Oh, that's so great, Tony. I can't. He wants me to go backstage. Yeah. You know what else helps me relax? A nice effing play. I couldn't hear you. Yes, you could. I made more people listen to that thing because I didn't hear it when they were doing it.
You know what's great about it? In addition to him doing like a letter perfect Tony Danza impersonation, it's believable. Like, you realize if you're a huge fan of Tony Danza that this is not an A-lister, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that he would get on the phone and talk to random fans.
Sure.
It's great.
Plus, you want to believe it. Like, if you're in the line for Tony Danza, like, think about, and this isn't even an insult, it's just the truth. Like, if you are willing to wait in line to watch a taping of the Tony Danza show, you just are impressed by anything. Like, I mean, you're taking the trip to New York, and out of all the things you could do in New York, which is limitless, like all the restaurants and all the boutique stores and all the plays and concerts and everything else, you choose to go to a taping of the Tony Danza show. I mean, it makes more sense to stand in front of the Today Show. At least that's like a American iconic like thing. And so the people there, like, yeah, I mean, they want it to be real, right? Like, even if they maybe don't believe it, they want it to be real.
I just pulled I just want to play a little bit of this, the intro.
Okay, because
Fred, if you don't mind, because
are you? Oh, the intro of the actual Tony Danza show. Because
you got to listen.
You can't play what he's.
Here we go. He's pulling up.
Hey! Thanks, Bobby. I'm Tony Danza, and I'm in New York City live.
So Bobby is driving a trash truck. Tony Danza's just jumped off the back of a trash truck to intro a show.
Tony's guests today
Lucky.
are
Listen to how
television icon Regis Philbin.
Got Regis in the first show.
Look at how good this sounds.
Stage and screen legend Liza
Liza.
Minnelli.
I mean, Regis and Liza.
Tony's family vacation to Italy.
Yeah, I went to Italy. There's one where he came out on a horse, and apparently the lady that Anthony was talking to as Tony Danza did not like when he came out on the horse. She did not. She was worried about him. I didn't like it when he came out of the horse. Well, I'm hung like a mule. All right. Well, there you go. You can check that on your own time. I want to thank whoever sent us a laminated picture of badass Billy Gunn, the Ass Man, standing in victory over whoever his slain opponent is.
Don't do that. I just had a Pavlovian response. I'm like,
that's why I did it.
Time to get something to eat and go on to the marathon of the rest of the day.
Because I didn't even know what badass Billy Gunn, what he looked like. I don't know anything about Ass Man except that song Ass Man. So it's quite nice. It's to us, but it's laminated, so all the value's gone. Do you know? And by the way, never laminate your Social Security card. It's no longer valid.
Is that true?
Really?
That is absolutely true. If you laminate your Social Security card or your birth certificate, they are no longer valid. They will no longer be looked upon as an official legal document.
Huh.
That is a heads up to all of you who are getting your real clear IDs. The Social Security card, which I have not laminated, and I miraculously through divorce and several moves have still in possession of.
Out of all the things that we have managed to digitize and do away with in the analog world, the fact that you still need that little flimsy cardboard Social Security card, you're expected to keep that card stock, whatever it is.
Yeah, it ain't card stock either. That's paper. That's straight paper.
It's thicker than paper.
Yeah, it's like that paper you'd put a resume on. Like it's a little bit thicker than.
Like a resume.
Yeah,
all right. But it's not cardstock.
No, it's not cardstock. It's below that.
But
Whatever. My point is this.
Well, I was adding to your point. I was doubling down on your point. I was helping you.
Okay. Well, I don't need your help.
Jeez.
Okay.
That's the funniest thing I'll hear all day.
Ungrateful.
Like,
thank you, John.
Does everybody still manage to keep their Social Security? I have mine. Fred shockingly has his.
I have no idea where mine is.
So you don't know where yours is?
It's in the house somewhere, but
That's
specifically
not,
no
not
idea.
good enough, John.
Well, you have no idea where it is.
You know why I have a safe? And it's a safe that, by the newsflash, if you break into my house and you really want my safe, you can just take it. I mean, it's not like a industrial bank safe. It's just, it's safe for the only point is that I can put my passports and my Social Security card in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. There's no valuables in there.
Oh, yeah.
If you rob my house, there's really nothing for you to take. There's seriously, like, why would you steal a TV now? They're $500 new. What are you going to go? And then you're going to risk a felony so you can like walk around hawking a TV. So there's nothing for you to take. There's really nothing of any value.
I bet out of our 3 homes here, the only one that contains anything valuable is Wallach's, with all the figurines and baubles and knickknacks and trinkets.
Probably.
That adorn the mantle and shelves.
Well, you could ruin his. There's stuff of nostalgic value certainly. So you could rob him out of spite. It wouldn't even. It would just be to destroy the items.
Yeah.
More than it would be to hawk them.
It's more like a wilding than it is a burglary. You just go in there and destroy.
Because I found that I don't cherish any items, like any old items. Like I don't need them. Like there's nothing that's not something that appeals to me, and it's it never has. Like I don't like look at old things and go like, oh. Like I had to get my kids like old Easter baskets from my ex-wife's house because I wasn't here for Easter, so I gave them like a small Easter basket on Sunday. And like I went down to like the storage area at my ex-wife's house, you know, where I lived, the house I bought. And I went down there
Not
and
yours anymore.
No, sir. Well, I'm still on it. My name's still on the documentation. I didn't want to have to. She doesn't have to get the new mortgage rates. We got that at a very agreeable mortgage. And so I went down and there was like there's like their Easter baskets and stuff, and like none of it brings back like like I like old pictures.
So I'll tell you one thing that I came across, and it was a photo. It wasn't the actual thing, and I sent it to my sister. I came across online a photo of a Bugs Bunny shoe shine kit that kind of had like the googly eyes for Bugs Bunny on the brush and a little can of, you know, like shoe shine stuff, because my dad was, you know, all about shining his own shoes. Like every night, I remember my dad sitting there and polishing his Florsheim Imperials so that he could wear them to the office for an hour and then to the bar for the rest of the day. And he got me as a kid this little Bugs Bunny shoe shine kit that I had 4 years and probably used like once or twice.
Now go home and get your shine box.
Exactly. But that thing evoked more emotion and memory for me, just seeing a photo of it, than any other of the stuff that I kept, which isn't a lot. My mom kept toys from when my sister and I were kids, and then she gave them first to my sister and then to me when our kids were born. I'm like, oh yeah, the play school, you know, the one-room schoolhouse and the houseboat, you know, that you drag along the farm. I'm like, yeah, it's nice. It didn't do anything for me. Like zero emotion. That Bugs Bunny shoe shine kit nearly brought me to tears. I sent it to my sister, and she, you know, responded the same way, like, holy crap. So it's the stuff you don't expect. I think it's the stuff you don't keep, and then you just stumble across.
My parents, I told you, I've said this many times, when they moved from Michigan to Tennessee, they just had someone come and take everything out of the house. What do you mean everything, Fred? Spices. Like there's spices from the 70s.
The spices is the best part. The box of spices in the attic. I think about that.
They're not in the attic. They're in the kitchen. So you say, Fred, they're not from the 70s. Oh no, there are things in their kitchen because the guys came into the kitchen and took everything. They came into my room and they took everything. My stuff's all in the attic, and I've gone through it like looking for baseball cards and stuff. For some reason, like items don't bring back nostalgia. Like a song will, you know, obviously TV shows, all that stuff does, but like tactile items usually don't they don't have like a ton of value to me. I don't know why that is. I don't look at it as either being good or bad. It just doesn't. But my parents are both alive. Maybe if one of them was dead, then something that reminded me of them unexpectedly, because something can hit you different. Like sometimes when I hear a song from when I worked at 99X that I like forgot existed, I'll get like this very warm feeling because I'll remember like such a good time, and then I'll try to chase it.
Yeah.
And then I'll like go around Spotify trying to chase the dragon, and I can't find it again. Like it won't happen again. And they're all bad songs, but it will be like a song that reminds. It takes me to a moment that I haven't thought about in a really long time. That's like a positive moment, and then I'll get this like warm feeling, and then I'll like chase the and then I'll start like going, oh, what other songs could there be? And then it's all over. It's like ASMR. Once you look for it, you're not finding it. You get your relaxing ASMR guy once. Oh, Rehab.
Is this one of them?
Well, do you know their second unreleased album? They brought me in to do skits. I was in the recording studio with them on several occasions.
So I figured we'd be.
Brooks Buford is. I still am in communication with him occasionally. This guy had several issues, several stints in rehab.
Hence the name of the band.
Did you guys play Rehab?
Yeah, this like 2000-ish, like
they were from
2002.
Yeah, they were from Warner Robins, Georgia.
Yeah.
They're from like outside of Macon, Georgia.
I feel like Hardy. I think I was working at the Edge. I think we played it on the Edge. That would have fit in the mix there.
Didn't play.
Yeah.
You said ASMR and music. I just thought.
You may be glad that you did.
By the way, is that one of the 4 songs that Salt and Pepper would play? And that's a set list right there?
Yeah, that's not a good song either. Relaxing ASMR, his wife is sadly passed.
Oh.
She was never a part of the videos. She was Mrs. ASMR. Mrs. Relaxing ASMR. But she's passed. I have not looked at his stuff in a long time. He'll go through an old JCPenney catalog from 1972. And he'll point to the stuff, like 2-hour video.
See, now you just brought up another thing. If you could show me like an old Sears Christmas catalog, like one that I poured over in 1980, I bet that would bring up all the feels.
You know why it wouldn't? Is because the internet. The internet's ruined. Now, thank you for saying that, because now I know why none of this stuff means anything to me. It's because of the internet. Like when you would have to stumble upon something like that, and it would like bring it back to you. Now there's like Star Wars figurines like all over the place. Like that's the kind. Because when I was a kid, I like collected old magazines and I loved that stuff. Like
in the
those
woods.
Now you can get anything in 30 seconds.
I left those where they were. I wasn't selfish enough. Those were community property.
Now you can find anything in 30 seconds.
Exactly. Like they had those I remember one time I was at a Toys R Us and they had one of those Kiss dolls like way past when they should have had them sitting there, and I didn't have any money, and I thought it was like the coolest thing. And then I never saw one again. And then the internet comes around and you go to eBay and they have like 1 million of those old Kiss dolls, and it's like, it's all with Facebook too, like all that stuff, like seeing the old stuff, like it's too accessible now.
The only way I think it would really hit home is if you had a physical copy of it, and you could. This is going to sound weird, but maybe not. If it still smelled the same way.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was going to say smell. It probably is a big part of it, like smell. Like sound and smell probably are way more effective than your visual recollection of stuff, like seeing things visually now, because they're not a big deal. I mean, if you would have told me there was a time where I could put Descendants concert 1985 into the computer and it would have like multiple things. I used to go to the library and get microfiche, whatever that stuff is,
Microfiche
out to like find like any like little thing about these punk bands that I could find. Like we would drive to record stores to Ann Arbor and like comb through stuff like just to find stuff. Like now it's all there. Like now I don't even care anymore. Like now none of it cares. You could see every Beastie Boys thing they did, like videos before License to Ill came out.
I could find the video of the show they did at the Phoenix Center, and it would probably not mean as much. But if you could somehow recreate the stench of stale Busch Light draft that was everywhere, and the polluted air and all that stuff, that's what brings it home.
Right, and like the Hesher guys, like I could find, and I have, like the Judas Priest concert I went to my senior year. Or my senior year, the day before I graduated 5th grade, like I can find that tour on YouTube, and it means nothing. But if you took me to Joe Louis Arena, like in like that smell and all those terrible people, like
remember
that would
the feel of those prison-like seats.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't know how they felt to sit in because I was too busy rocking out to Crocus. All right, we will be back. A lot happened last night. One of the great Celtic games of all time occurred, and we will have that for you in just a moment. Hey, we're Dutcher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happens. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. I don't think we'll get to hockey. I found something that I think is interesting. The slowest top sustained speed from forwards in the NHL this season. There are no Bruins in the top 25. There are no Bruins in the top 25.
Say that again. What
the
measure?
slowest NHL forwards
Yeah.
by top sustained speed, miles per hour.
Okay.
So the fastest they ever went in this season. They track them all, I guess, every play. There are number one is a former Bruin, but there are no Bruins in the top 25. There's a couple former Bruins. But there's one guy who played in the Four Nations who's number two. Would you care to guess?
When you say number two, meaning the second slowest.
Second slowest, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know who the fastest are. There are good players, like Connor Bedard is one of the slowest.
Huh.
Charlie Coyle?
No. You might not remember he was a Bruin. He was a Bruin last year, but it's pretty obvious that
Brad
he would
Marchand.
but that he would be really slow. That just a second, and then we don't have to sit with this much longer.
I don't know.
Patrick Maroon.
Oh, yeah.
But number two is Matthew Tkachuk.
Really?
Is the second slowest player in the NHL.
Doesn't seem to hurt him much.
No.
He's doing okay.
But you would think the Bruins would have someone.
Yeah.
But they don't have anyone. There you go.
Well, the Celtics got everyone. So clever. Except Drew Holiday, who had to sit again last night. As the Celtics tried to close out the Orlando Magic, they had their hands full in the first half, but in the third quarter, the Celtics started to turn things around.
Tatum starts his drive, now pulls back. He's going to take a three over Batase and drill it.
Big time players, man. Big time players step up and make big plays.
Magic try to survive without Banchero. They trail by 8.
So just to put it all in perspective, 49-47, Orlando led at the half. In the third quarter, the Celtics went on a 36-13 run.
Which coincided with Paolo Banchero picking up his fifth foul about 2 minutes into the second half.
Which, was unfortunate, but at some point, you got to put him back in. You got to risk him, picking up that last foul.
They had him on the floor to start the fourth quarter when the game was already over.
Too late.
Yeah.
Just joining us, Knicks lose at home tonight. Pritchard straight away. 3 begins the fourth.
Bombs away.
History is going to look back at this game and say, man, the Celtics just blew him out of the water.
Well, Pritchard with the back-to-back threes to start the fourth quarter.
Wait. You don't say. You think history's going to look back and go that 120-89 was quite a win? And by the way, all the history books, everyone will remember Game 5 of the 2025 Eastern Conference first round. I mean, when will you forget this game?
That guy in the morning show.
Yeah, when will the documentary come out?
I love you, and I think you know that.
He didn't say it back.
Celtics get the win last night. 120-89. They finish off their first round opponent, Joe Mazzulla. That may be a little tougher than you thought.
Yeah, I mean, they had to deal with our physicality as well, and they had to deal with our defense. And I thought both teams, I thought that was the theme of the series, was the trenches and the physicality there. And every series, every game presents lessons. You have to take those lessons if you're fortunate to move on. So there's a lot that we can learn from this series, and we got to be ready for whoever we play against.
The refs let a lot go again last night. They were killing each other.
Well, they did in the Piston Nick game too, and Mazzulla knows this year is going to be a lot different.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be. Look, they won't struggle next round against anyone, but it's going to be much. No matter who they play, it's going to be much more physical.
I will
if they
say
play
this.
Detroit, it's going to be extraordinarily physical.
I agree, and I was heading in that direction, which is why I said yesterday I'd much rather play the Knicks because Detroit's a far more physical, far more athletic team. But as far as what Orlando did to them during this series, Celtics didn't hit a 3-point shot in the first half. They hit 13 threes in the second half when things loosened up a little bit. But Orlando didn't double. They were very physical. They ran them off the three-point line. And you know what else they did? They took away the Celtics' ball movement, which I didn't think any team could do. You take a look at the shot selection last night.
They're like a jockstrap.
Took away the ball movement.
It wasn't until they spread out the offense they were able to move the ball with any efficiency and kick it around a little bit.
Brown had 18 shots. Tatum had 16. No one else had more than 8. I mean, usually you see, at least members of the starting 5 all in double digits. Last night, the Celtics just like, all right, Tatum, it's your turn. You isolate on one side, you score. Okay, Brown, now it's your turn. You isolate, you score. And that's how the Celtics won the game. That and Banchero getting in foul trouble. But Orlando was big, physical, and they defended the Celtics different than any other team had all season long. And you know what? The Celtics still won in 5 games. So that's how good this team is. They're gonna beat whoever they play in the second round. If they play Detroit, it'll be a lot harder. But it's all conversation until we get to Cleveland.
Yeah, they'll win. They beat either team 5-6 games. But
well, Fred, you had mentioned, and again, they will take on the winner of the Knicks Detroit series. Fred, yesterday you said Detroit's going to come out and blow doors. They're pissed off.
I said they'd blow doors. I said I think they could win.
You said they're going to kill them.
They were going to beat the F out of them. Is what you said.
Yeah, you said they're going to kill them.
It's going to be like that Miami series.
They didn't kill him, but they did get the win.
And it hits the heel, bound around, and the Pistons have done it. They have sent it to a Game 6 at Little Caesars Arena on Thursday night as they have defeated the New York Knicks 106-103.
All right, so I watched the fourth quarter of that game. They didn't call any fouls. They just were not going to call fouls. Like they just were like, we're not calling fouls. The NBA is funny because the Knicks lost the game. This is absolutely true. The Knicks lost the game because, first of all, they hit 2 wild circus threes to like even keep it as close as it was. Like it wasn't as really that close. Like just at the end, they 2 in your face like fadeaway threes, like floating out of bounds threes the Knicks hit. But the part of the reason the Knicks lost is because in the fourth quarter they complained while play was going, and the Pistons were able to were getting rebounds and moving in transition because the Knicks were actively complaining. It was fascinating to see. Like there's complaining like during a stoppage, and there's complaining like while someone's setting up for free throws. Also, I got to hand it to the NBA. There was 20 seconds left in that game, and nothing happened. There was just like a stoppage in play, and the Knicks screwed up. They had a guy who was coming in who they didn't want to come in, but he had touched the floor, so he had to come in. So the good for the refs spent about 20 minutes letting them sort that out.
You mean there was a delay?
Right.
Nothing was going
so
on.
the Knicks hit this circus 3, right? And then the Pistons have free throw shots. So like the Knicks are going to make this move, and then but then they rethink it. But the guy had come onto the court, and they spend, I'm not joking, close to 5 minutes, and and who knows what's going on. They're just standing around. It's not a timeout. It's not a TV timeout. It's nothing. It's just them figuring out who can come on the floor and who has to come out on the floor.
Were they staggering the starts of the other games? So the length of that game, that was why Celtics Magic tipped off at 8:52 last night.
Yes, well, that's right.
Well, I don't know that. It wasn't the Knicks Piston game that.
No,
why
it
they
was
were
the
staggering.
first game. It was the game we're going to get to, Indiana and Milwaukee. That's what delayed.
Oh.
That's the reason it was delayed. Well, I was told that we were going to get to it. Maybe
I don't
we're
know.
not.
He jumped all over you, Wallach. I don't know why. It was that was.
I thought he was stretching. He was overstretching things.
So let's just get through all the basketball part of it. The Bucks led by 20 at the half. The Pacers erase that lead. They force overtime. Pacers are down 7 in overtime. Go on an 8-0 run to finish the game and win it.
They were down 7 with 35 seconds left.
Yeah, it was about it's 35,
In
40
overtime,
seconds.
and they
Done,
won.
right? Game's over.
Yeah.
It's a little anticlimactic to listen to it because there was a three-pointer, but there was just a two-pointer with an and one, and it's okay. All that's great. Pacers, wow, they're good. Tyrese Halliburton's dad storms the court afterward and gets right up into the face of Giannis.
That is right up there with him.
Oh, they still trying to clean it up. We got Antetokounmpo, we got Mathurin, and we got all kind of guys out here in the middle of this. The security's there, and it's Kevin Porter Jr. I mean, yeah, they're trying to get him out of there. They're trying to get Mathurin out of there.
I think it's important to recognize that Tyrese Halliburton shook Giannis, drove by him, and made the game-winning layup with 1 second left. So after seeing that, his father rushes the floor and gets in Giannis's face.
Halliburton, first of all, congratulations to Indiana. They really proved something. And Halliburton's like dancing on the scorer's table because, why not? The world's their oyster. They're going to... look out. They're going to win a championship.
You can't fault Halliburton's dad. It was a very classy move. He had a towel with his son's face on it, and he's shaking that in the face of Giannis and saying, this is what the F we do. This is what the F we do. Who hasn't done something like that?
Sure.
Had a towel made with your children's image on it,
Right.
and then gone out and waved it in the face of an opponent after a game.
Right.
Fred, you probably did it at baseball games this spring.
Yeah,
After
absolutely.
He struck out a kid.
Absolutely. and especially, I can't wait until if he plays sports as an adult to then, if look, this is not happening. But I just say that my son was being paid to do anything. I couldn't wait until he's in his mid 20s to really go out there and show his opponents who's boss. I could see getting pissed off at like a hockey game, like watching your like minor child, like if there's like a fight or something like that, like something like that, like getting like defensive, like that parental instinct sticking in. Your kid's a multimillionaire. He's worth tens of millions of dollars. You are you. He is him. Your part of his life is no longer a factor. When you die, you want to be known as Tyrese Halliburton's dad.
No.
All your accomplishments are through your child.
Giannis was not happy about it.
I believe being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won the championship. They haven't.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Just the way you'd handle it. Yep.
Okay, and that doesn't say anything. I'm not trying to minimize their effort. But losing a game...
I will. You beat a team that had nobody. Congratulations. And you shouldn't have been down that much at the half. Congratulations, Indiana. You beat a Doc Rivers coach team with one player. That's great. Why did it have to go to overtime? Cleveland didn't have to go to overtime. Cleveland won by 1 million. The Celtics didn't have to go to overtime. They won by 1 million. Congratulations. You went to OT against the team. And by the way, that's all on Giannis, too. The one player on that team. Seriously. What did you expect? The idea that they played hard in that game is embarrassing to Indiana. I mean, there's season... Milwaukee, as they're currently constructed, is over.
Yes.
This is it.
Yep.
And the idea that they came out and took that game to overtime, I think is a credit to them. And is a credit to Giannis. He had 30 points. He had 20 rebounds and 13 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He was a real joke. He was really sucked in that game. And then just that you're a Halliburton's dad, and so what is your gravestone going to say? I was a really good basketball player's dad. Congratulations. That's a white life well lived. That's all you need to do. Don't do anything for yourself. Just sit there and bask in your child's accomplishments. That's a good way to live. And good for your son, too. Maybe that's why he wasn't drafted till the middle of the first round. Maybe that's why they knew who you are. Or why no one cares about that team and they're the most boring team in the history of the basketball. I can't stand that. You know I can't stand that Indiana team.
We went through this in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Yeah,
could you think of anything more boring than that team?
Yeah.
Just a boring team with no stars, just boring. Boring. And it was boring, and no one watched it. So there you go. My point is proven. All right, here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics blew out Orlando last night, 120-89 at TD Garden. They win that first-round playoff series in 5 games. They'll play the Knicks or Pistons in round 2. The Pistons now trail New York 3-2 after a win last night, 106-103. Patriots drafted long snapper Julian Ashby last weekend, so yesterday they released the longest tenured member of the franchise, Joe Cardona, and Garrett Crochet went 7 strong innings. The Red Sox beat Toronto 10-2 at Rogers Center. Sox have won 3 straight. Lucas Giolito will face the Jays tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration Contractors. When your home or business is hit with water, fire, mold, or storm damage, Blue Sky will take care of everything from beginning to end. Visit goblusky.com, restoring your property and your life for a brighter tomorrow. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
We are Toucher and Hardy. And Hardy, this is what happened last night. Still, what else happened last evening?
Red Sox played in Toronto. Jaron Duran getting things going.
He'll fly that one deep. Right field. Santander's back. And Jaron Duran with number 2.
Put it in the bank.
Oh, Santander. Gotcha.
A leadoff home run to get the Red Sox started.
I'll take some interest on that. How about a couple more dingers? Woo!
Style tonight in Toronto.
Okay. He thought he was going to have, at the very least, I'm sure at one point while this ball was in the air, maybe a double as Varsho, the center fielder, got turned around during this particular play.
Here's a drive to deep center. Varsho back. And did he catch that ball? Yes, he caught that ball.
Varsho spun around, looking at the wall, tripped over his own feet, then reached out and backhanded the catch on the warning track. And
that's his only game he's played this year.
Yeah, I never even know who that guy is.
It's his. Well, it was good. That's good for good reason. He tripped. He probably goes, "Oh Jesus Christ!" I don't even know if that was his first major league game, but it's his first game this year.
He's been around for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But he probably was thinking, "Oh no."
Yeah.
And then he falls, and then he makes a catch he should have made easily.
Yes.
So there you go.
But Abreu was there to add to the Red Sox lead.
And there's a swing and a high D drive center field. Varsho's backing up, turning around.
Abreu for that ball, please. I'd like a souvenir.
That one's gone. Abreu with a 3-run shot.
I'll give you everything. I'll bray you everything in my wallet for a chance at that. Oh, ding-a-dong ball.
And the Red Sox are mauling the Blue Jays tonight.
Ooh, get out of bear.
Let's go to South Shore Plaza because there's a mauling going on.
Hey.
See, it's a different word, but
Right.
it works.
Fast times at Ding-a-High. Oh, no, don't go in the stereo store. He's a pedophile.
Why don't you get with that nice boy from the movie theater instead?
Damone, he needs money. Maybe you could sell that dinger-ball that you just caught in the stands.
So the the Red Sox would get the win last night over the Blue Jays in Toronto by a final of 10-2. They will go again this evening at 7:07 because Toronto does their games at 7:07, not 7 o'clock, not 7:10, 7:07. That's the way it's been north of the border for a long time.
Lucas Giolito, his debut. Big night.
Oh,
huge night.
Well, I wasn't excited.
Don't everyone go crazy.
I wasn't excited about the game until now.
Yeah.
But
April
now.
baseball, baby.
Yeah.
Let it ride.
That's it. That's everything that happened last night. We're done.
Garrett
It's over
Crochet.
now.
Garrett Crochet looked real good last night.
But I will tell you this, is that if you were wondering what's happening with the coaches that are formerly of the Boston Bruins, your Cassidy, that was too tough on the team. His 50-win team is now up 3-2 over the Wild. And teams that are up 3-2 in series in NHL playoff history have a very, very high percentage chance of winning that series.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see. And we'll see if the other guy you fired, Montgomery, tonight, if they can pull the best goaltender, get the best goaltender in hockey pulled again.
2-2 series, heading to Game 5 in Winnipeg this evening.
Right. And if they win that game in Winnipeg, oh boy, I'm going to want to peg someone because this is going to be a disaster.
Now, you don't have to peg anyone. I don't understand if you got to have a full grasp of the anatomy.
Yeah, not necessary.
Well, it depends how hot the night's been.
Okay.
I am keeping an eye on that, though, because there's nothing more embarrassing for the Bruins than if the St. Louis wins this series.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I mean, it really is embarrassing. Your last two, because Vegas is going to win that series. Your last two coaches have, and look, the Blues probably won't, but who knows? I mean, the
Winnipeg's
goaltender,
a top seed in the West. If you think about the run they had to go on just to get to this point, to snag the final wild card in the West, and then you beat the top seed with the best goaltender on the planet coming out of the gate.
And if you're a Winnipeg fan, you're not feeling great going into tonight.
Hell no.
You're feeling really bad going into tonight, actually. So if I'm the Bruins, I'm keenly watching these things. Certainly as a fan of the Bruins, I am, because both of I can't think of another scenario where a team prematurely fired two coaches that went on to immediately have this kind of success. Like immediately.
It's rare. It's got to be either completely unique or Yeah, sure, it happens with a coach, but two coaches in a row to do this?
Yeah, Cassidy wins the Stanley Cup the year after, and then you fire Montgomery, 10 days into the season, and he turns around and he takes a team that sucks into the playoffs, and if they beat Winnipeg, then holy moly.
Yeah.
That's two coaches who have proven themselves to be very, very good that were too poor to handle your organization.
Also tonight, the Panthers have a chance to close out the Lightning and Tampa, and then Ovechkin and his historic run could advance tonight. They're up 3-1 over Montreal, and Washington is at home. But I also find myself in the odd position of kind of rooting for Florida because I'd like to see Brad Marchand continue to play well and contribute. It was really good the other night.
Don't forget, I think, if I remember correctly, the draft pick is on the line, a conditional draft pick. You want Florida to advance to make that conditional second to first.
Yeah, they're advancing. So, I wouldn't worry about that.
Also, one other thing, I don't think this is even close to happening. Rick Tocchet stepped down as the head coach of Vancouver. Tocchet played here. It theoretically could be one of those things where the Bruins look at that guy. So Tocchet has extensive coaching experience, although I think he's only won 2 playoff series in an entire coaching career.
If he wants to get fired right away, he knows the job after this. He'll have a lot of good sex. Freudian. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more.
right, we're Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Very quickly, there are 4 new items about Jordan Hudson and Bill Belichick that we will do in the next segment. And I was punching around while I was driving around yesterday afternoon. ESPN, Mad Dog, Felger, and Maz all talking about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. I would like, it was on all the national morning shows on TV yesterday. Everyone who attacked me can feel free to email me now and say, Fred, you were a soothsayer. I take back everything I said about your obsession with that relationship, because I even have to admit it's gotten. I told you guys off the air. I go, I don't even know where this is going next. I knew it was going to be a disaster. That I saw. This is a whole new thing. I don't know where this is going to end up. We could discuss. Well, there's plenty to discuss, so let's get through this. All right, here is the deal. You have gotten some news stories. We're going to hear them here. And Hardy, what is this first one?
This is a story of intrigue, scandal, and cheating in an otherwise idyllic place. We go to the island of Maui.
Oh, where John has been. That's somewhere he didn't take his kids.
Honeymoon. That's where I was.
Why'd you just move that mic?
Because half of his face was blocked off by it and it was annoying me. That's why I moved it.
You want to look at me?
Yeah.
All right.
You're a handsome hunk of man, my friend.
All right. I guess someone swings both ways.
I really enjoyed the fact that I honeymooned on Maui right up until I found out that Wallach did the same thing. And now I think less of my honeymoon.
Why do you say that? That's not very nice.
You know why I say it.
But why didn't you guys go to Niagara Falls, Canadian side?
It was a drive. We could have driven. Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is something to do with pigs. But this one we won't get in trouble for.
A Maui man who admitted to killing a beloved pet pig, then lying about it to win a hunting contest, will spend tonight in jail.
Jaden Jarneski Magana's animal cruelty case brought a crowd to the Wailuku courthouse. Our Anthony Ferreira takes us there.
How many fun names there? He's got 3 long names.
Oh,
and they're in the Veruca courthouse. Everything's fun in Hawaii.
Yeah, they all have very fun names.
Yeah, everything. These howlies.
I was thinking about that too when you hear the name of the courthouse again. I'm like, I don't know how you could take it seriously. Like if you have to go there for, like a felony charge,
Right.
It's like, yeah, but I'm going to the Hukapukaluka courthouse. It's not going to be that bad.
I know a guy who went to rehab in Hawaii because he was like living in Hawaii, and he went to like a pretty rough one, and not as fun as you would think. Kind of rough. The people that are like generationally Hawaiians that have like been in poverty, not so fond of the guy that was in
the guy from St. Louis is in jail next to him.
Yeah, well he was in rehab, and because it was rehab,
yeah.
but it was like this like real rough one, and not so fun for the guy. A lot of violence for a place that's supposed to be a rehab that you're not forced
That's
into.
kind of like the theme of this whole story. It's like this beautiful place you're on Maui. Oh, there's violent rehabs, and now there's about to be a pig slaughter.
Yeah, big like gang situation. The guy told me like a huge like gang thing happening, and like immediate like skepticism of this guy's role in the whole ecosystem of the rehab.
It's a very delicate sociological mixture going on in there.
You don't assume you're going to have to use your fists in rehab, and this guy was forced to throw on 2 occasions. All right, here we go.
A call for justice on Maui. About 36 people rallied outside of the Wailuku courthouse.
Okay.
Wailuku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
I'm
can't.
I'm up for murder 1. Oh, where's your bail hearing? Wailuku. Oh, that's not that bad.
Sounds pleasant.
It's that frog that makes that fun noise in Puerto Rico.
A cookie? Daniel?
It's the Waluki.
Ahead of Jaden Jarneski Magana's sentencing, the 19-year-old pleaded no contest to charges of animal cruelty, theft, and criminal property damage in the killing of Eddie the pig. Owner Sarah Haynes says her 250-pound pet was taken from his pen at the Kitty Charm Farm in Haiku last May.
All right, look, here's what's interesting about this to me is that...
What's this piggy doing?
Look, if you have a pig as a pet and someone kills it, that's obviously a terrible crime. And I'm not being sarcastic. It's a terrible crime. Don't get me wrong. But what I am interested in is this gets back to the turkeys. When the turkeys cross the road here in Massachusetts, if you hit one, it's like the end of the world. But meanwhile, you could have 100 turkey sandwiches in your car while you hit the turkey.
Right.
But that turkey can't be bothered.
Right. That turkey's protected.
Yeah, that turkey you can't have. That turkey on the road. No.
Not even using the crosswalk. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, if it's pecking at your car and like trying to attack you and you like kick it, oh no. Not, like you'd go to court.
Right.
But meanwhile, you have like 17 butterballs in the back seat, and that's fine.
Yes, and
because those were raised for slaughter.
All these people had bacon for breakfast, and now they're outside the
spam.
courthouse. Right.
Spam is
huge.
Spam in Hawaii is huge, and that's like the entrails of pigs. So it is interesting. Look, it's someone's pet. They shouldn't obviously kill it,
especially to win a hunting contest.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the main offense is that he lied it to the hunters.
That's Eddie.
But if the hunting contest you could have a pig, like this outrage over the killing of the pig, maybe then they should make a law that you can't eat spam. That's my point.
She didn't know what happened to him until strangers sent her posts on Instagram. Jarneski Magana admitted to being one of the hunters. He and co-defendant Chris Ryan Saito Corino then entered the kill into a Makawao feral pig hunting contest.
A lovely place, Hawaii. It's just feral pig hunting contest. People stealing pet pigs.
So feral pigs,
them.
You can kill as many feral pigs as you want, and then they reward you for it. But if you kill a pet pig, now there's... I understand it being illegal, but this seems like a lot of outrage over something that people were doing, for sport.
All right.
Like, I'd imagine that's the feral pig hunts. That sounds like something they didn't invent yesterday. That sounds like something that's probably been around for 300 years.
Protect our pets!
Your pets. Okay, I get it. Like, you shouldn't steal someone's pet and kill it, but it's part of a pig killing contest. I mean, that's the whole point of the contest is to kill pigs.
Wailuku Courthouse.
It's nice.
And claimed the first place prize of $1,000.
It was a fraud on the family who put together the hunting contest and tried to run an honest event. And it was a fraud to the other hunters who entered the contest and tried to do it the right way.
Your Honor, we're trying to have an honest pig hunt here.
Yeah, we're doing it the right way.
And these two jokers, all they do is cut the leash of Eddie and then slice him open and haul him in.
So they won $1,000 for killing this thing.
That's right.
And now,
thank you.
Now it's outrage.
All right.
I don't know what that is.
It's 9 Inch Nails. Come on, Piggy.
I don't know that song.
Jarneski Magana did not address the court. Instead, his attorney read his written statement for the judge.
I would like to start by saying that I've made a mistake and it was not intentional. I've learned a lesson, and I'm not a bad kid. I've always been a good kid and never gotten in any trouble.
Jarneski Magana faced up to 10 years for all of the charges.
Holy crap.
All right.
Well, that all took place at the
Wailuku Courthouse.
Thank you. We got to get to this next one, though.
That's what you want to spend your money on, is that guy being in jail for 10 years. All right, go ahead. Here we go. All right, what's next?
This is an act of vandalism and a resulting cost to the retail establishment owner that is certainly growing by the day, but the initial costs are outrageous for what this one woman did because she just couldn't hold it.
You definitely want to put your fork down for this one. So details.
Thank you. Put the fork down and grab the Jergens. You don't want to stab yourself. Put the fork down.
I'm listening.
Yes. Consider the fork down, sir.
You definitely want to put your fork down for this one. So details of this case, I will be honest, it made my stomach turn just a little bit.
Puss. You gonna throw up?
So let's get into it. Hanover Borough Police recently filed charges against 47-year-old Crystal Goss. She allegedly...
Oh, Crystal. Yeah. Her OnlyFans. Yes, very affordable.
She allegedly walked into a Royals farm, went into the bear cave, and defecated on a shelf right next to the drinks for sale. So police say the incident happened on April 7th, with store employees telling officers...
Having a celebration? Store employees carrying her out on their shoulders?
You definitely want to put your fork down for this one.
Mm. Did they use it as art?
What's the issue, if you would please, sir?
I just like how they describe where she did it. Like, we're all supposed to know.
On a shelf right next to the drinks.
What is the name of it? I'll do this quickly.
Okay, so they called it a beer cave, but it sounds like you're saying bear cave, which is very confusing.
Yeah.
She allegedly walked into a Royals farm, went into the bear cave, and defecated on a shelf right next to the drinks for sale. So police say...
So everyone knows Royals Farm.
I guess it'd be like calling
cave.
it Cumberland Farm.
Well,
but, so we would know what that is around here, but I've never heard beer cave
Well,
before.
I think it's a trend you see at some liquor stores and some convenience stores where, you know, you've got the coolers, right? And you can go and pull your beer out. But now they're allowing you to go to where they would go in to stock it, right? So you're able to going behind the display, as it were, because there's more beer.
Is there poo in most of them?
Just this one.
Defecated on a shelf right next to the drinks.
Because the freezer will keep it cool and therefore fresher. It's just like meat. You know?
The incident happened on April 7th.
Okay, thank you.
A date which will live in infamy.
With store employees telling officers
That they were very aroused and they had none of them could stand up because they would have been very embarrassed.
Saw a woman later determined to be Goss walk into the bear cave just before 5 in the evening. So if you don't know what a bear cave is, it's essentially a large walk-in cooler with see-through windows. So inside the cave, surveillance footage allegedly caught Goss pushing a case of beverages back onto a shelf, pulling down her pants, and you can probably guess the rest.
No.
Details.
What did she have for lunch?
Are you a journalist or not, sir?
Yes. I don't know anything. Was she sick?
And you can probably guess the rest. She then allegedly left the store. Now, the affidavit states that Goss, quote, did create a hazardous and physically offensive condition that served no legitimate purpose.
Other than to titillate.
Police were able to get in touch with the owner of the gray SUV Goss was seen driving, who identified her as the one behind the wheel that day. Now, court documents state that due to her actions, the Royal Farms lost just about $80 in product. And as you've heard from Lori, Goss's charges include scattering rubbish.
Scattering, yes.
I would like to examine that crime scene and make sure that only $80 worth of beer were affected by this. You know what? I might even start a little GoFundMe just to maybe mark off that area a little bit wider circle. Get rid of all that.
What a
stuff.
fun way to put it, too. Scattering. Scattering everywhere.
Scattering rubbish, open lewdness, criminal mischief. Includes scattering rubbish, open lewdness, criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct. A preliminary hearing date has not been set, and as of this moment, of course, we have no idea why the suspect would have done something like this. We likely won't find that out until the first day in court.
Until she comes flying in with her cape on. Look, thank God that was on the news. She seems to be in major trouble. It seems like that's going to be a big problem for her.
Being charged with open lewdness.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And $80 worth of damage. That sounds like that would. She's going to do a lot of time. I like how he's like, put down your fork. This is going to be gross, but here we go. This has to be said. Lady took a dump in a beer cooler.
Defecated on a shelf right next to the drinks.
All right, well, someone who's defecating all over the legacy of someone. Hello.
Hey.
It just keeps happening. There's 4 new things about Jordan Hudson. She handled that. She's so good at her press duties for her boyfriend, Bill Belichick, that she's managed to make him 4 national stories about them to come out because she's doing damage control.
It's like every 8 hours something is posted.
Well,
It's
John, you don't
amazing.
understand damage control. It's to create as much more
exactly
to create as much fire around it as possible.
Pour more gasoline on it.
Yeah,
Very
it's
important.
like, well, you know, like firemen, they've learned to actually spray gasoline on forest fires because that's what helps.
Yeah.
She couldn't be doing a worse job than she's doing. She's so inept. It's almost like she's doing it on purpose. But this continues, and this continues to destroy the legacy of Bill Belichick, and it does. He's become a joke, and I'm not the only one. Now, I might have been the first one, but I'm not. Now everyone's doing it, and we'll tell you. These are from national reputable news sources. 4 different stories about Jordan, and we will have that for you in a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way.
we're Toucher and Hardy, and the evolution of Bill Belichick post-Patriots has been very interesting. There was photos of him with a very young woman, and then it turned out to be an open relationship where he was with a 23-year-old. He's 73. And then he started taking her out, and then it started to be rumored that she started putting up these cute photos on Instagram, a lot of them. And then she started going to affairs with him, like, the big parties that were with paparazzi. Then she was in the Super Bowl Dunkin' Donuts commercial with him. So she's obviously inserted herself into his life, and that was all odd. But then reports are coming out that were coming out with emails that she was working as Bill's public liaison, like his publicist, agent, all these things. And it all came to a head on Sunday when he has his dumb winning book that no one's going to buy. And because it gives no insight into his life. It's just a bunch of pablum to make himself look smart. And Jordan, in her infinite wisdom as a PR pro, sat in the interview, reportedly by everyone, interrupted it several times. That was not filmed, but enough where they showed B-roll footage during this like 4-minute segment of her screwing around with Bill, and then this, of course, happened.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
Okay, so two things about that. One of the things is he's totally lying, but the second thing is how they met. And we made the point of, okay, scientist, if you're there for PR, why are you shouting out during this interview that you're not going to talk about it? Because A, you talked about it. You are the one who put this story about how you met. What's going on? And how hard would it be to we met on an airplane and I don't know, we were having an interesting conversation, we exchanged information, and then, here it is 4 years later and we're in love. How hard would it have been to say that? But you're Bill Belichick and you're Jordan Hudson because you're too stupid to even get through the most simplest of questions. Well, this is on TMZ. This is one of the 4 things that have come out. Jordan Hudson is doubling down on how she met Bill Belichick as the internet cast doubts. Because the internet was going, well, why don't you want to talk about it? Did you meet on Seeking Arrangements or something that sugar daddies go to meet young women where they can support their lifestyles and have sex with them? Is that what happened? Because you seem to be not wanting to talk about this. What is the secret, you maniac, considering you already put out how you met him? Why would you, wait, what world are you in that you would stop that from being said? All you did was create this yourself. So, like the PR pro she is, she says, let's keep this narrative going. And instead of just going, let's ride the 24 hours out. Maybe I'll keep a little bit of low pro for a while. She starts sending stuff out on the internet again. So she puts, Jordan Hudson doubling down on this. Chapter 1 of the couple's love story has been scrutinized in recent days as Hudson refused to let Belichick talk about it during a now infamous interview with CBS. Why is this interview infamous instead of boring? Is because Jordan Hudson has no idea what she's doing. And she's not an evil genius. She's a moron, a complete idiot. And the bigger idiot is Bill Belichick, who's allowing this all to happen. He has absolutely no savvy. He's a total loser. Heard a story yesterday that a guy asked the owner of the Giants at the time when Parcells left. He's like, how could you hire Haley? And he goes, Bill Belichick's an awful person, is what the guy told him. The interruption has folks wondering if the Roman-esque flight run-in was bogus, and Hudson, seemingly aware, because she reposted an old Instagram of her Metaversity in February, during which she showcased the textbook Deductive Logic, which obviously she has a textbook, as does every student that was enrolled in school 2 years ago. I mean, textbooks, your children have several. Deductive Logic, Bill saw that, and this is, she was going to a local university.
Yeah.
Not far down the street. Her mother works at a sex shop in Providence. She's a brilliant mind. Featuring the 8-time Super Bowl winning coaches John Hancock, February 11, 2025, line February 11, 2021. So she turned 24 this year. She was 4 years ago 20. Happy Metaversary, and he was 69. Happy Metaversary at Bill Belichick, she wrote in the caption. Cheers to the fact that you still let me give you lengthy philosophical lectures 4 years later. So Jordan, in her vast brilliance with her advanced degree and her academic background, is giving him. And you can tell how intelligent she is by the way she's handling this. She doubled down on it. Then why did you sit there and say he's not going to talk about it? Why could you not just let him give a pap answer? This isn't 60 Minutes. This is CBS Mornings. This is a show. This is a magazine show.
They're not going to F you. They're not going to,
unless you push them past the point of no return.
And reportedly storm out of the interview, expect Bill to follow you, and then hold things up for a half an hour and interject multiple times. Then in the interest of whatever journalism they're trying to accomplish on Sunday mornings, they feel it necessary to include a clip of you interrupting, because that is the story of that interview, was you interrupting multiple times.
And that's Hardy is throwing something in there that we've also learned, is that Jordan stopped the production of the interview, which I'm sure, the people that for CBS television, the CBS television network that have been doing it since 1979, are just thrilled that this moron is making everything 10 times worse and stopping production of a pap interview. I mean, this isn't interviewing Gaddafi in 85. This is, there's no smoking gun here. This is all, you have broadcast this relationship. You're in a Dunkin' Donuts Super Bowl commercial with Ben Affleck. Get out of here. What, now all of a sudden it's a private, it's on ABC right now.
Yeah.
Right now, this is on ABC. She couldn't have handled this worse. She might be one of the dumbest people in public right now. Like, dead serious, dead on, no hyperbole. She might be one of the least qualified, dumbest people, which makes Belichick even dumber.
Yeah.
Because now people are starting to go, Bill, they're starting to theorize, because I told you, this is all anyone was talking about yesterday in media. And people are theorizing now that maybe Bill is super hyper intelligent in one very specific thing, but in the rest of his life, he's completely clueless. Like, he has absolutely like just lost in the rest of his life. Like, he has no command of it, that he's just kind of floating in this world where he has no idea what's going on. This is the New York Post yesterday. Jordan Hudson releases fiery Bill Belichick email in latest twist after interview fiasco. Bill Belichick and girlfriend Jordan Hudson have apparently heard the chatter. All right, come on. In the wake of the couple's disastrous appearance on CBS Sunday Morning, the former college cheerleader 24 shared a lengthy email from the new UNC football coach 73 that centered on the promotion of the upcoming tome, The Art of Winning, Lessons from My Life in Football. So she shares an email now from Bill. Her strategy is, we just on Sunday had a disastrous interview. I'm going to, double down on meeting on the plane and keep it going. And now I'm going to, for no reason, release this private email that Bill put out to people close to him. I as someone who's been in trouble publicly and been in trouble like on CNN covering it and stuff, you don't start just releasing more stuff. You bunker down and you wait for it to pass. That's what you do. If you have to apologize, you apologize. I mean, she could have come out and said, look, I'm sorry. Like, I'm new. She could have come out and said, look, man, I handled the interview poorly. I'm sorry. I'm new at this, and I was just trying to protect my boyfriend. And then everyone would have gone, okay.
Yep.
You know, and then it's kind of like mean if you call her stupid. You know, like a little meaner. But Bill and her are a perfect couple. They can't admit to any wrongdoing at all. They can't admit to any fault. He can't answer the simplest of questions. He has zero, and maybe it's not even his fault. Maybe he doesn't know how to answer simple questions. So the message is dated April 10th. Just as the first stories about the book were coming out, Bill began. This is Bill sending it to his people. I don't think this is fantastic, but it will probably hype the book, which is clearly an ongoing theme here. He's saying, why do we have to hype the book? Everyone's going to buy it. Everyone wants to know what I have to say about winning. I'm such a big winner in life. What a winner I am. Look at me running around winning. This is about what I expected from the media. Well, guess what, buddy? It gets a lot worse. We went through how important it was for me to put "if I effed up" in the book. And, of course, that is the feature of this article. So he's speaking about some article that has been written about him. And he's very upset that they're focusing on a part of the book where he admits a mistake. By the way, this is a book he wrote. So he's mad that the feature on the book is focusing on a part of the book. This Bill doesn't like. Why isn't it focusing on all the parts about how great I am? Because it's not interesting. Failures are interesting. Overcoming failure is interesting. Just your ride of success is not interesting to anyone. That's the feature of this article, is mostly about admitting mistakes and talking about a Super Bowl mistake. I am fine with putting mistakes in the book, but I'm certainly not surprised that in 260 plus horribly boring pages, that is what they would highlight. And of course, the I effed up is the clickbait they use for the story. Well, you gave them a lot more, my friend. You threw a lot more meat out there, stupid. Well, you big stupid bully. Look at you now. You big jerk off, twisted in the wind. You thought this was a bad idea, that they took something for your book? How about you got a moron running your operation, and you seem like a senile, old, desperate, clogged up old man. We'll see what the title of the article is, which I've noticed has been conveniently left out, as if they have any. They have to tell you the title of the article. Do we have approval on that? I would approve, but he doesn't care. Do you notice that he said in that interview, "Oh, I don't care what anyone says.
Right.
It's what makes you care. All you care about is what people say."
That has been the narrative out of Foxborough during Bill Belichick's tenure. All there, it's like, I don't care. F the media. Meanwhile, monitoring everything that's said and written and reports given about what was said and what was written to the coach.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't care about anything. He can't.
Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys?
Okay, so that's from Sunday. He's just lies. He lies. He can't be human at all. He doesn't care. But meanwhile, he cares more than anything, just like everyone else.
Yeah, it doesn't make him somehow less than to be paying attention to what's being said about you and written about you. That's what we all do.
God forbid you should be relatable in some way, shape, or form.
Just to be human in any way, and it's so arrogant and dumb. Like, you're not standing at a podium after a Super Bowl you just won anymore. You're an ACC coach with a girlfriend that's too young for you, that's running around like an idiot, burning your legacy.
You can't stay above the fray. You have to be relatable. You have to sell yourself. That is what a college football head coach does.
You're selling a book. You're doing press for a book that you want people to buy. Yeah. No one's forcing you to do the interview. I would approve the article if we could also approve the headline, which is actually more important than the article. All right, Trump. Belichick added in the email that he wanted the book to be presented as a look at my professional life and how I did my job on the way up, and as the leader of an organization that grew from 500 million franchise to an 8 billion organization, which, by the way, he's solely responsible for, because, you know, the Jets, who've won all these championships, have gained in value none.
Yeah.
What team just went for like $79 billion? How much did Washington get sold for?
Oh God! Their football, the new stadium's worth $4 billion alone.
Okay, so let's give who was the coach that ruined RG3?
Shanahan.
Yeah, let's give Shanahan. He should write a book about how he ruined RG3.
$6 billion for the Commanders.
Can you imagine walking away from a football team and saying, I'm the reason they're worth billions of dollars now? How much did the Celtics just sell for?
Over $6 billion.
Over $6 billion, 6.05.
And it's only because of Doc Rivers. He's the only reason.
You're right.
It's not the growth of professional sports or anything
both Doc
else.
Rivers and Brad Stevens did have statements saying that that's all because of them.
Right,
the two of them.
And I'm sure Brad thinks it, too. I'm sure Brad Stevens. I'm sure Danny
if
Ainge
we know
certainly does.
anything about Brad Stevens.
You know, as someone who talked to
Right.
Danny Ainge for 10 years every once a week, I can tell you Danny Ainge is probably walking around thinking that he's responsible for the value of the franchise. Because Danny Ainge is smart and has some semblance of being a human. He's an impressive person, while Bill Belichick is a bully and a weakling. This book is about how I did my job and my lessons for my 50 years in and around the NFL, not a bathroom book that highlights my mistakes. So he wrote a book, and he's like, this isn't a bathroom book. What is this? This should be studied in college? What is this, the Iliad? What is this? I mean, what is this? Chaucer? What are you, Hemingway now? This is a bathroom book. No, people should wipe their butts with it.
It's Canterbury Tales.
You should be happy that someone's buying this piece of garbage with your winning. Get out of here. No one wants to read it.
No, they do want to read it because he finally explains what happened with Malcolm Butler and Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, neither one of the. I don't think the name Aaron Hernandez is in the book, much less Robert Kraft, and nothing about Malcolm Butler.
Oh, and by the way, these two geniuses went out publicly yesterday on a date where they could be photographed, which is another fantastic move by Hudson. Instead of maybe just having Meatloaf at home, they had to go out and get photographed, and then they were peppered with questions about how psycho they both are. So her strategy for this bedlam that has occurred since her absolutely unprecedentedly sabotaging an interview. Again, you're allowed to have sex with women and take care of them. They don't have to come to work with you the next day. You understand? If you're a lawyer and you want to bang a 23-year-old and you pay their rent, they're not allowed to sit next to you and object in court. You understand? If you're a doctor and you want to bang a 21-year-old and you know what, you buy her a nice Versace bag, you know, she doesn't get to sit in brain surgery with you and start poking around. He's a weak man. All your little things of like, oh, yeah, he's good for him. He's banging a 23-year-old. Good for him. He's banging a 21-year-old. Oh, is it good for him? Is it? He's giving her the keys to the kingdom, baby, and not money. Money's whatever. He's let her run his life, and she couldn't be doing a worse job. He's a fool. A dumb fool. An idiot. And it's fantastic because he's a big prick bully that thought he's smarter than he is, and he's a good football coach, and congratulations. That'll get you a ham sandwich when you live the rest of your life like this. And now, how is this going to end? Who knows? I mean, how long can this keep up? I mean, if she's just firing out more stuff every day in order to keep this stuff alive, what's the end game of this? We can only speculate, but it's going to be bad.
Now everyone is all over them, turning over any rock they can. And we were talking about it off the air. We don't have to get to it. It's more reporting this morning on something else, but it's something new every 8 hours.
I'll do it for 7 hours today, but we have full phone lines because no one can get enough now. Where were you all a year ago when we were talking about this? But now everyone's on board. Bill's an old stupid fool with an idiot girlfriend. Blowing up everything. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics pulled away in the second half. They blew out Orlando at TD Garden last night, 120-89. Jason Tatum, 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. Celtics win that first-round playoff series in 5 games. They'll play either the Knicks or Detroit next. That series is headed to a Game 6 after the Pistons avoided elimination with a 106-103 win at Madison Square Garden last night. Patriots have released long snapper Joe Cardona. Also, former Patriots offensive lineman Jake Andrews claimed off of waivers by Houston. Red Sox hit 5 home runs in support of Garrett Crochet. They blew out Toronto last night 10-2, and Lucas Giolito will make his 2025 debut in the regular season for the Red Sox when they play the Blue Jays again tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180. Give yourself a goal of losing 40 pounds by the 4th. It's doable, it's easy, and your summer self will thank you. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and everyone is talking about this Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick fiasco, the train wreck. I mean, it's referred to a train wreck in the New York Post and TMZ. Everything that happened on the CBS Sunday Morning Show, which, by the way, I've been on. And I can tell you it is not a difficult thing. I need someone to pick up line 6 because my phone is acting up. If you could do that for me. All right, Jason, go ahead.
Good morning, boys. I just wanted to point out, as a religious watcher of CBS Sunday Morning, typically the format is Jane Pauley comes on, says welcome, and then they go through the 3 featured stories. And this past Sunday, the 3 featured stories were Pope Francis passing away, the 20th anniversary of YouTube, and a feature on Bobby Darin. There's a musical going on. But not the homeless, slob, pathetic, fat loser Belichick and his dumb book that no one cares about. So I think that tells you something, that CBS thought this isn't really anything big. They're not highlighting his crazy girlfriend, who, by the way, Fred, you are so right. She is not that hot. Is she attractive? Yes. But would I, push my parents into the water with bricks on their feet? No. So I just wanted to point that out. That CBS Sunday Morning didn't even put it as a gotcha kind of segment, or, hey, everyone, look at this. Because no one cares, and it's not that his book is not that big of a deal. Thanks, guys.
Yes, this was going to be a throwaway interview that was come and gone. This wasn't something that required a PR person to be in there to regulate. There was no hot button thing.
Correct.
The only thing they asked him about was stuff that they had put out publicly. She's in a Super Bowl commercial as his girlfriend. That's very much on board. Just answer the question. How everyone's interested in your relationship. Yeah, there's a bit of an age difference, but love is love. There. What do you think he's going to do?
Yeah.
Go start poking you?
And at the beginning of it, all those things were, a conversation, the how attractive they both were, the age difference, all that stuff. But had they just had a normal relationship and allowed him to have a normal work life and not interfere, or as the case seems to be, mess things up, whether it's the NFL Films project that they wanted to do at UNC or this interview on CBS. Now the story has really gone away from the disparity in age and the how they got together in the first place to, no matter who it is, here's someone who's coming into this legendary coach's life and essentially blowing the thing up and making him, it was laughable before, but now it's getting to the laughing stock stage, and it's unfortunate to see this happening to him, except that he brought it all on himself, and he seems to be allowing to let it happen.
Well, it's a parable, as Phil Perry said. The arrogant alpha, bully loses his throne and then becomes a sycophant and a loser. Go to line 1. Murph has something very important to say. Murph, go ahead.
Yeah, Fred, no one's disagreeing. Is he a creep show? Yes. But the sick, sad desperation in your voice, just reeking of jealousy that you will never be in the club. You will never be in the can bang or has banged hot girls club. The best you will do is a middle-aged TV dinner cat lady. And it's just shining through, man. You won't do it. So you got to give it up.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. You've hit the nail on the head, Murph.
It's jealousy.
Congratulations.
It's not watching the slow, sad decline of somebody who was held in high esteem by an entire region for decades. It has nothing to do with that being interesting. It's you're jealous.
This is fascinating.
You're jealous. Admit that you're jealous, and then we can move on.
Oh, absolutely. This is my dream. This is exactly what I want. I want my life to fall apart publicly because I've given the keys to my life to a when a girl that I met that was 21.
You're jealous of somebody who is widely and universally renowned and respected to now be laughed at by everybody and say, wow, you've allowed this woman to take over your life and ruin things for you professionally and personally.
And if I could only meet a woman, that would be really good too.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been struggling. I mean, it's been very difficult for me. Thank you so much.
I'm very envious of the position that Bill has put himself in.
I mean, I would give anything just to meet a woman. Like I'll never be able to. It's so difficult for me. But we were talking about how this is going to end, and like, there's no way out now, because John made a good point. Like, if this is off the air, if they break up and like Bill stops this, she's going to go publicly nuts, and you can sign any NDA you want or anything. Like, she's going to, everything's on the table.
You think
she'll
Bill's
go ballistic?
You think Bill actually mentioned an NDA? There's no NDA.
There's no
anywhere.
NDA. So,
Not a chance.
So what? Well, and I'll tell you, there's guys in his orbit. They bring NDAs out with them.
Oh yeah.
So believe me, the big stars bring NDAs.
Oh,
and when and if this thing ends and it's on Bill, if Bill ends it by any miracle that Bill ends it, she's gonna go so publicly nuts.
She's going to talk about sex between the two of them.
The size of his penis. She's going to be on that "Who's Your Daddy" podcast before you could blink, and it's going to be, she'll turn it into a career. Then it's a career, because now I'm being funny about it. What was it like banging an old guy? I got to tell you, it wasn't so great.
Right. Right. I was scrolling through Tinder, and there is picture, and the whole thing.
You know, he was even if they met on the plane, he was creepy on the plane, and I didn't know. But like, look, I got my own thing happening.
Him. Oh man, does she have him?
Oh, she's got him. I mean, there's no way out. There's no way out for him. Okay, I will take Eric, because Eric has been very staunch with this. I don't know if any of this is true. Eric, go ahead. On line one. Eric, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I legitimately don't know if it's 100% true, too. But like I told you before, when we emailed back and forth and we talked about it on the air, my buddy now he doesn't care. He's a private pilot. He doesn't really listen to sports talk radio or even really care too much about Belichick and football. But when he told me that, the squatting situation in Nantucket and making Belichick's life hell at the time, it was the younger girl. It was Jordan. And I think I told you about this 10 months ago when I found out about it.
Yes, you've been on top of it. Yes.
Yeah, and now, Fred, if we line up the dates, right, like when that story came out online, it kind of got brushed over, but I think it was towards December of his last season, the 22 season. We could line up the dates and say him and Linda were pretty much over, and he had already been spotted out with Jordan, I think in New Orleans, but we didn't know who Jordan was yet. So all this stuff lining up now, Fred, wouldn't you agree that, I mean, even I'm a little shocked by it, but yeah, that whole situation in Nantucket with the squatting.
If that's true, it's very strange. All right, we don't have very much time. I do want to take Joe, though. Joe on line 6, please. Joe, that's line 7. Joe on line 6 is what I need. There you go. Joe, your wife went to the alma mater of Jordan and was a tutor and is familiar with the curriculum there. You have a smoking gun here. Go ahead.
I do. Take this for what it's worth. She was at the same educational institution as Jordan at the same time. She was a tutor in philosophy for 4 years. So she's very familiar with the curriculum and with the textbooks that they use. The textbook that Jordan has posted is not one that she's familiar with, not one that she's seen before. And it looks to us that it is a special edition. It doesn't look to be something that would be used in a classroom. And so to me, I have to believe that
it was a gift.
The story is true. Maybe it is, but to me, it seems like this is a made-up tale, and it's she's kind of embellishing here somewhere.
It's a special edition of a philosophy book that he wrote on and was a gift to Jordan.
I find it more likely that she was not challenged by the curriculum. and that she had to go out on her own and seek out more learning.
Right.
I happen to know, I believe in the
That's also
philosophy.
possible.
That is absolutely not possible, Joe, but thank you. I do enjoy that. Thank you so much. Caller number 10 in the contest line, 617-931-0985. We'll score a $100 gift card to the 99 restaurant, a great gift for mom, dad, and grads. Buy a $25 gift card in restaurant or online and get a $5 bonus card for yourself. We'll be right back.
a little bit more. They went zone. They had some different matchups out there, so they, had to play a little differently. So I was able to try to play make and distribute a little bit more today. But yeah, they just kind of forced us to play a little differently.
Their opponent is still to be determined after Detroit held off the Knicks at Madison Square Garden 106-103. The Pistons now trail that best of 7 3 games to 2, but they have the home floor for Game 6 tomorrow night. Turning to the Patriots, they drafted long snapper Julian Ashby last weekend, so yesterday they released Joe Cardona. Garrett Crochet allowed 2 runs in 7 innings. The Red Sox beat Toronto 10-2 north of the border last night. Wilyer Abreu 3 for 4 with a 3-run homer to lead the offense. Sox have won 3 in a row. They continue this 3-game series tonight. And the NHL's draft lottery will be on Monday night. The Bruins have the 5th worst record in the league this year. They have an 8.5% chance of claiming the top overall selection. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. With over 50 trucks on the road, because your clogged drain is their emergency, go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5 The Sports Hub. You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
The Orlando Magic scratched, clawed, and made it a rock fight for 4.5 games. But when the Celtics finally got through the door, they kicked it down. They win it going away in a dominant Game 5 win, their 5th consecutive series win by 5 games or fewer. And the Celtics don't just advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals, they barge their way through the door to get there.
Hey! I don't know what this is obviously a song about a sports team. I don't know what
it is. It's about the Orlando Magic.
Really? Oh, yeah. This is the song they debuted the team with. I'll tell you, when I was Abracadabra and Razzmatazz, I was in Orlando for that finals team. They should have won, too. And that town was aflame with Magic fever. It made me hate them.
Recording in progress.
Hey.
All right. I don't know what that means. All right. But you can watch us on YouTube and subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub. Chris Forsberg, he covers the Celtics for NBC Sports Boston. Talking Green with Chris Forsberg is presented by Bentley University, where good business leaders... where good business begins and leaders come to learn. Hello, Chris.
Good morning, friends. Are you ready for that YouTube boost?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
I always am. Okay, so we were just talking about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. Everyone's talking about it. It's a very exciting time. People are sending apology emails to me for making fun of me about talking about it before. But Jordan Hudson and all her, I just want to, this relates to the Celtics. In all her genius, because after a PR disaster, just keep feeding it, is what they tell you to do. She, for some unknown reason, released an email that Bill Belichick had sent to his people about his book. And he says that in it, he said that he took a team that was worth $90 million and turned it into like a billion dollar organization. $500 million franchise to an $8 billion organization.
Yeah.
Do you think with the recent sale of the Celtics that Danny Ainge is popping around, patting himself on the back for the valuation of the team?
Probably not. I'd probably just be okay with the championships and let that sit where they may. But
perhaps that all franchises and all the sports have become much, much more expensive in the last 25 years.
It has nothing to do with the success and the economy and the fact that everything's worth way more now. It's one person's
the
impact.
Redskins, who don't win anything since the 80s, are building some $400 billion stadium right now. So he's just so ridiculous. He's just just a piece of garbage.
What did you think of the did you get in on the Comic Sans? Like the
No. What's that?
So it looks like remember when you first discovered Microsoft Word?
Yeah.
And you had to pick a font, and like when you're 12, Comic Sans looks really cool. So someone, either whoever wrote it or was reading it off the screen, whatever way you want to go with that. It's the same font that I believe the Cavs owner wrote.
Okay, it's
letter.
like this blue, Comic Sans font. Okay, I understand what you're saying because I'm looking at the actual email now. Yeah, the strategy of that. You're in media.
It's young and hip, Fred.
Yeah, but the strategy of releasing the email the day after a disastrous interview, that's PR 101. I mean, you got to give her credit for that.
It's I don't know what I don't know how I feel about it. As someone who used to cover the Patriots and be down there, and I was a tiny part of it. I was just riding the coattails of Mike Reese, but it's weird to see how they were so buttoned up for so many years, and now to watch this, it's just so jarring. It's like I don't know how we got here.
But now John scared me because there's no way out for him.
No, there isn't. There's no way out.
There's no way out for him.
Not clean. Not a chance. Nope. And
John's absolutely right. Like there's nothing that if he ends things, she's gonna go on like Who's Your Daddy podcast. She's gonna go and do all the rounds. She's gonna write a book. She's gonna go on every TV show, and she's gonna not hold back anything. And it can't be all good. What if he needs to do something to get an erection?
Yeah, no.
And she starts talking about
every
that.
last detail will be revealed on whatever and there will be a lot of them that will request to speak to her, and she'll do any interview that she's asked to do.
And that's the real danger of all of this, is that it's one thing, again, to date someone. It's one thing to take care of someone, all that, whatever, man. That's your own thing. It's great. It's funny that it's Belichick. It was funny. But then when you start letting people accumulate power and run your stuff, that gives them a legitimacy, because then it's not just some girl there's a picture of that is saying that she had sex with you. It's someone that there's evidence of her controlling your life. So it gives this value and this credibility to everything she says about you.
The other part of it, and the step that we're kind of leaving out, is does he have it in him to break this off? Is he going to take any advice to break this off? Because anybody with half a brain should have already gone to him and said, "Are you out of your mind? Stop this."
I don't think there's anyone in his orbit that would. I don't know, but from what I'm told, it's a very small circle, and there's there's sycophants, and I don't know who would do it. Lombardi certainly wouldn't do it. And listen, it's not his kids' responsibility to do anything. He's their dad. They're his kids. It's not their. This is nothing on them. His kids got. No. What are they supposed to do? There's nothing they can do about it.
They have to watch this every day.
Well,
that's the problem.
That's part of the part of the shrapnel that comes from these things.
Yeah.
Very interesting, though. Very interesting. All right. Last night, the Celtics they saw what the Cavs did, and they said we can do it too, and they blew out the Magic. And did you get anything out of this series now that it's over?
The only thing I'll take is that there is usually a benefit to having to work a little bit. I think we know the Magic were not your typical 7 seed. And while the injury stuff isn't good, having to navigate that and the physicality of that series, the Celtics really had to figure out different ways to win. And, for much of the season, it was always like, oh, you can't rely on the 3. You're not always going to have the 3. And, well, no 3-pointers in the first half last night, and you still find a way to sort of blow doors at the end of that game. And so I think whatever comes next will invariably feel a little bit easier to their offense. And, if y'all Pistons could have taken care of late game situations, we'd be the Celtics would have maybe I guess it doesn't matter.
It's entirely on the Pistons too. That loss in that loss in Game 3 is completely on them. Get out of here with that.
The NBA, but there have been late game situations that they could have been a little bit crisper in.
Oh, absolutely, they're inexperienced. There's no question about it. I'm not a Piston fan, and listen, they last night almost let it get away.
Right.
So yeah, no, I know. It's like, look, dude, they've never been in the playoffs before.
But one thing we've learned is they're the equal of the Knicks.
Oh
Easy.
yeah, so certainly they might be better than the Knicks.
Yeah, even though they're 1-3 and 1-6, Pistons could be up 3 games to 2 in this thing.
Well, they should be up 3 games to 2. I don't like Chris's flippant attitude about the mistake at the end of that game. You're sounding like
Forsberg.
I very much enjoy that team, and I guess I was because the Knicks are so fraudulent and have not beat any good teams and are exposable on defense. Like it's fine if they're the next opponent, but I guess from an entertainment standpoint, I really wanted to see these Pistons on a big stage, and look, they're showing some of that inexperience, but I think you get through a series, you get a little bit of confidence. Would have loved to have seen what it looked like on the other side, and they still have a chance.
Yeah, you're talking like it's over. Like, look, they haven't won a home playoff game, I think, since like maybe the aughts, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And so, look, but winning that, you don't overlook winning that game 4. I mean, game 5. That's a win in New York.
Yeah.
In a close game. They did close that game out. There were some circus threes at the end.
And now they're at home for game 6, and I would take the Pistons in New York for a game 7.
If it goes to game 7,
Yeah.
I really like the Pistons in New York for a game 7.
And getting back to the opponent, Chris, I would much rather see the Knicks than the Pistons in the next round.
He's talking about as a Celtics fan.
Yeah.
As a Celtics fan.
100%. And so because you've had so much success against the Knicks, where even that last game where you didn't have Al, and you'll have him out there to defend Cat, and Cat was good in that game, but opening night, they almost set the 3-point record against that team. The Celtics certainly seem to thrive going to Madison Square Garden. I think it'll be a little bit different in the playoffs. I think it's a little bit more difficult, but certainly I'm not like thinking the Celtics streak of not going beyond 5 games is in jeopardy if you see that Knicks team based on regular season results. I just as a fan, I really like watching Cade. I think that the athleticism, those Thompson twins, man, like. I just wanted. I would have really liked to have seen the Pistons. And like
you know who won them that game?
Yeah.
Is not even Cunningham. The guy that won them that game is Durant. Jalen. He offensive rebound. He got 2 offensive rebound putbacks.
What he does
to save their ass.
Does better than just about anybody else in the league.
And by the way, they don't have that kid out of the kid from where was it? Jaden Ivey. They don't even have him playing right now.
That's right.
He's out for the season. So there you go.
But real quick, Chris, more to what you were talking about earlier about the Celtics winning without making 3-point shots. I think that's huge for this team because the defense you saw from Orlando was not the last time you're going to see that in the postseason.
Yeah, we were talking about it on our shows last night, and can you kind of recall this if you get to the finals, you see Oklahoma City, maybe even a little bit with the Cavs, depending on, like how they play in the finals and the problems they present with their size, but certainly the way Oklahoma City can turn you over and can take away the 3, some of the things that give the Celtics problems. Maybe there's a little bit of knowledge now about how to modify, how to adjust. Now the difference is Oklahoma can still score points. You were lucky that the Magic had pretty much 2 offensive weapons and couldn't do much beyond that. But I do think it invariably when you do something hard and it gets a little easier, it's like, ooh, I just feel like the floodgates could really open for the Celtics offensively next round, and you should feel pretty confident about having to navigate that, and credit to the Magic and all that. But again, it will be more difficult because the next opponent will be able to score and will stress you differently. You can't have the lulls, some of the stagnant offense the Celtics endured for small stretches, for the turnovers, all that stuff. But I feel really confident about this team. Everyone keeps saying, like, oh, you watch the Cavs and Oklahoma City storm through round 1. Do you feel any different about the Celtics' chances? And no, like they had to grind a little bit more because there was a better team on the other side than those squads played. But I feel really confident where the Celtics are at this moment.
All right, let's take a break. We're very fortunate to have Chris for 2 breaks. And
very fortunate.
Very fortunate. Oh, we know it, Chris. Don't think we don't have lots of gratitude.
How do you what's going on over there, baby? Why are you so quiet?
Well, because we were talking more about Bill, and then I do have to ask you something about the Celtics offense because you seem to be high in them. I'm guessing because of the way they played in the second half last night, but I do not feel as confident that this is pretty much just like what Cleveland did. They won in 5 games. They had a tougher opponent.
They won 4.
Cleveland 1-4, as the point I was going to make, and the Celtics seem to be having more issues now. Is that injury related? Do you relate that to Drew Holiday? But I don't put him on the same plane right now as Cleveland. Cleveland much more impressive in their first round than the Celtics were.
All right. Well, we can do.
Can we discuss that on the other side?
Yeah.
On the other side, baby, we'll keep this up.
Yeah.
Was the Celtics? Are they matching up with Cleveland? We can have that for you in just a moment. We'll be right back.
Jeff Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flavor.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
And they had to deal with our defense, and I thought both teams, I thought that was the theme of the series, was the trenches and the physicality there. And every series, every game presents lessons. You have to take those lessons if you're fortunate to move on. So there's a lot that we can learn from this series, and we got to be ready for whoever we play against.
That was actually an interesting comment from Joe Mazzulla. It's Toucher and Hardy. Joe Mazzulla, good friends with our own Hardy, broke bread with him, ordered for him.
Order for everybody.
At a dinner, not a lunch. Chris Forsberg from NBC Sports Boston.
It's just a point of order, please. It's not that as though he said, you'll be having this and you'll be having that. It was more of a, you know what? Just bring us everything.
It's an alpha move, regardless. Did he ask you if you were vegetarian or vegan?
I think he knew the answer. I think he knew he was dining with a real man, meat eater.
Oh, so because you respect animals, you are less of a man. Gotcha.
No excuse for animal abuse.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Chris Forsberg.
All right, so Chris,
let me just follow up, and then I will let you get to your question.
What are you following up on?
On what Mazzulla said. And Adam played it, not me, but so we just played it.
Since when do you pay attention to what Adam does?
Since forever.
Thank
you. But Mazzulla does seem to be, with his coaching and telling Tatum to get up, with his comments about the physicality. He was asked about the physicality of the Magic, and he said, well, we have our own physicality. Am I interpreting this correct? This road in the playoffs is going to be much more physical than last year, and that's the message he's sending.
Yeah, and I think they harnessed it the right way, where, everyone after game 3, I think, was like, oh, they got to respond. 3 flagrant fouls in 3 games. They're out here trying to mask an obvious talent discrepancy, but by being kind of junking up the game and trying to hurt guys, and you got to go fight somebody. And it just wasn't the way. You have to stay focused on what the goal is. There was no good that was going to come of the Celtics losing their mind after game 3. And I thought they really kind of responded well, were appropriately physical moving forward. And just like you said, there's going to be more challenges moving forward. I don't know necessarily it's going to be, as I start thinking about last year, the Pacers were super physical in round 3. It just, doesn't always feel that way because of the way the Pacers play. And everyone kind of views them with their high octane offense of being a little bit more of a finesse team. But yeah, in general, if you start thinking about the Cavs and Oklahoma City and even the Knicks with their wing defenders, there's going to be physicality, and the Celtics have to respond to it the right way. And the way Tatum just shredded them in the final games here against the Magic gives me confidence that they will approach it the right way.
Okay, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seemed to me that you were saying that the Celtics did just fine in their Magic series because they had the tougher opponent, and if you're comparing them to Cleveland, well, it's not really a fair comparison. I would just say this, Chris. Both Cleveland and the Celtics faced inferior opponents in round 1. The Cavaliers, aside from they only won game 2 by 9 points. They absolutely dominated wire to wire all 4 games. Again, with game 2 maybe being the exception, which they still won.
Set a record for point differential in a sweep.
I mean, they showed up against an inferior opponent and made them look to be inferior for 90% of that series. The Celtics, on the other hand, hey, look, a gentleman's sweep. All right, there's nothing wrong. And the way they played in the second half last night showed real dominance. What about the first half last night? What about the 9-point win in 2 of those games and the loss? They're not apples to apples. They are 2 different series that went down, and I think the Celtics had a chance to establish some more dominance and to get tuned up, and either didn't take advantage of it or they just weren't able to, because maybe what we've been talking about all season long is Cleveland is maybe a little more dangerous than the Celtics are right now.
I'll give Cleveland all the respect in the world. The difference between the Miami Heat team they played and what the Celtics saw is also very, very different. Like the Magic were not a 7 seed. They were a team that was beset by injuries, and could have been if they had been healthy, they would have been up higher. Now they're like, look, none of that matters. Like I think the Celtics took care of that series as could they have been more efficient in spots? Absolutely. If I asked you, who do you think had the higher offensive rating through their series, the Celtics or the Thunder? What would your answer be?
I would guess the Thunder.
Celtics had the better offensive rating. So it just doesn't feel that way because they weren't as dominant, right? Like they didn't have a 50-point blowout win. Last night was the only night they really stomped them. And then, everything else was close and a grind. It wasn't a nice series. It was ugly. It was slow. It was plodding. One of the things I thought throughout the totality of the season for the Celtics was that they were playing with the design of we have to win differently, and the path is going to be different. And I thought Joe really sort of set them up well over the course of 82 to be prepared for a moment like this. And it probably came a little quicker than everyone thought. No, I think any of us thought coming in like, oh, the 2 seeds shouldn't be challenged in that way. And again, I'm not saying like the Magic were like a super challenge, but they did stress you in ways that other opponents have not.
Yeah, it's just last night's game again. I think it was the first time maybe in NBA history a team was down at the half and ended up winning by more than 30.
Mm-hmm.
Neat. Not a great stat. You shouldn't be in a position where you're down to a team at half that you're capable of beating by more than 30 points. I don't love it, is all.
Yeah, then we'll see. We'll see how they respond. Like, okay, is there something where those inconsistent play, those lulls? Look, if they turn the ball over like they did in this series, games are going to get difficult. If the Celtics go stagnant for 7 minutes like they did in Game 3, and don't have a field goal in the third quarter and have an awful frame, you're not going to survive it against really, really good teams and really good offenses. But I need to see it. I think the Celtics know when they need to lock in a little bit more. It took a little slap in the face in Game 3. It took a little hack in the early portions of this, but they figured it out. And so, it's kind of wait and see mode. I'm not saying I'm worried. Like you just got to watch the bumps and bruises. Like we keep saying it, and it's probably cliche at this point, but when you've got Tatum grabbing the wrist, when you've got Jalen worrying about the knee night tonight, when you got Drew Holiday missing 3 games, like those are the only things that can really derail this thing. And so hopefully they get a few days here. Hopefully Knicks Pistons go 7, and we'll see how it looks when they crank it back up. But yeah, like look. Good and bad to be plucked from any series, and I'm sure they will learn from the bad moments.
You mentioned Drew Holiday. When will we see him again? Because I think ultimately everybody has to be healthy to get by both Cleveland and Oklahoma City.
So, everyone around the team seems to be on the same message that this is truly a day-to-day thing, that there's nothing more nefarious about it. I think being up in that series from 2-0 to 3-1 gave you a little bit of flexibility with how you wanted to tread with Drew. That being said, he hasn't talked. He has been on the bench. He's been around in the locker room. So usually when it's bad, guys are like hiding and out of sight. But it would be nice. I suspect in the next few days, the Celtics are going to be off for a couple days here. But when they crank back up over the weekend, I suspect we'll hear from Drew and feel where he's at. I'd be surprised if he wasn't out there for Game 1. Hamstrings are tricky, especially for 30-plus guys. But I think if this had been a like do or die game last night, if this was a later round of the playoffs, I suspect we would have seen Drew out there.
When is the earliest the Celtics can start their next series?
So I had some people tell me last night that it could have been Saturday if put it this way: if the Knicks had won and the move update gave them the ability to do either Saturday or Sunday. Now that the Pacers and Cavs are starting on Sunday, I would be surprised if it's not Monday, but I guess that Saturday night window might still be in play if they finish in 6th or last. We'll have to see what the league does. It all depends on how many more series are going, right? You don't want to start too early and then have run out of games before the Eastern Conference Finals, or because those dates are set. But if I was guessing, I would say it's early next week.
All right. Well, look, keep that momentum rolling. Celtics fans.
Fred, you hate the TV schedule. I know.
No, you love it. It's so good for the game. Go ahead.
I'm with you. But there were the only thing that drove me nuts was last night there were 4 games, and when that Indiana game goes to overtime, we've got to fill 12 minutes of time because our game can't tip. And at one point I saw it. It said something like, "Now playing on HLN." Do you have any idea what HLN is?
No.
What is it?
I believe it's headline news.
Oh
God.
That's because Turner owns CNN.
Right. So whatever network they had available was where they punted the first minute and a half of this game while Giannis was trying to fight everybody against Indiana. And so, I mean, I wish they better. And I know it's hard to do these things and plan these things out. But as an NBA consumer, games on NBA TV and all that, yeah, it's a little bit maddening. With an 8:30 start is ridiculous too.
And then to make it like closer to 9 is crazy. Let's talk about the Bucks with the remaining time we have. So the Bucks are in a situation where probably the smart thing to do for everybody would be to meet Giannis, in a couple days and go, all right, where would you be willing to go, and how do you want to handle this? First of all, would you agree with that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sure, like, if he had his way, Giannis would prefer to just kind of figure out a pathway forward in Milwaukee, but I'm not sure that's possible.
Well, their hands are tied, obviously.
Yeah,
because
exactly. And so I'm
injury.
with you. I think you do make it. And unfortunately, to bring in one of our favorite topics, like, the Heat, who one of those teams that just keep kind of falling up. They're gonna have a chance to try to every time like a player like this becomes available, they'll make a play. And I don't know if that's where he ends up or whatever, but if you're a desperate team and you need to make a trade, if you've got young assets, you're gonna at least attract the Milwaukee Bucks to think about it, because they're in a real bad spot up there.
Yeah, so Stephen A. Smith now believes that Miami is no longer a destination because of Pat Riley's presence. Which is kind of a compliment, I guess, to Pat Riley, that he's such a savvy and hard-nosed GM that people don't want to go there. I would contend that people would go there. It would just take money.
It's Miami.
Yeah, I hate
people
Miami, so don't get me started. I'd rather be in Boston, Miami. But yeah, it will be interesting because Giannis is so good for that city. But look at Oklahoma City. They had, Harden, Westbrook, and Durant, and everyone's like, well, it's a shame they're losing all those guys. And, they got rid of them and they got all those assets, and look at them now. And look at what happened to those guys. I mean, two of those guys don't have a championship. And one of them had cherry-picked one, a couple of them.
If you were Oklahoma City, you have all these assets. Someone like Giannis comes available. Do you make a move? Like it sounds preposterous, but the Thunder of anybody are the team that has the most ability to jump into stuff. Now,
it depends how I do this year, I guess. Like if I lost in the second round of the Nuggets, then I think about it.
And it depends how psychologically damaged he was by having a towel waved in his face with the image of Tyrese Halliburton on it. I don't know that he'll ever recover from that.
Right.
Good for Tyrese Halliburton's dad, making it all about himself.
The Thunder are probably going to get. Like, I think the Thunder are going to make a play for Booker, and, it's better for them to skew young and find, like, another just experienced guy and use some of those assets. But I don't know. It's kind of incredible that they're positioned to be a threat for a long time, and they still have the ability to go add if they want. And maybe they've shunned that notion for a while. They've been okay to go just get the Carusos of the world, the Hartensteins, and, like, just kind of pad the totality of their roster. But one of these days, like, a guy's going to come available that sort of fits the timeline they're on. And yeah, I do think you're right about it, maybe how this year plays out. They get bounced in the West Finals, and they're like, man, we just need one more veteran superstar type guy to really, propel us. And, maybe they think harder about these things, but just feels like that's, if you're a Celtic fan, you're looking at them and going, next few years, maybe even this year, it's kind of the team to keep an eye on. And it's a little jarring how many assets and what they can do with that roster.
Yeah, so it just goes into the notion that as much as it would suck for Milwaukee and as much as it would suck for the organization, is that that you kind of gotta trade Giannis.
No GM can look at that roster and go, "We're keeping these guys together."
Well, we're
going to wait for Lillard. We're going to keep these guys together.
What you would be doing is you would just say, like, this team is really Giannis, so, like, we're keeping Giannis because he was loyal to us, and and because the crowd loves him, and the city loves him, and that's what you'd be saying. You wouldn't be saying we're going to win. But Doc Rivers said, "Look, if this team was healthy, who knows? But they're not going to be healthy next year, so that's the thing." And by the way, they're not firing Doc Rivers They're already paying a guy.
I know.
If I'm Milwaukee, I'm like, Doc, you take the team. You do whatever you want. Our team, when we trade Giannis, we're going to suck for a while. You're running out this contract, baby. If you want to quit, quit. But I ain't firing you. All right, look.
Hardy, when are we golf clubbing again?
You know what? As a matter of fact, I got a slot available tomorrow if you're available.
But your show's not on tomorrow.
For a special pre-recorded segment.
Oh, you mean that's
he had not one, not two, but 3 greenskeepers on.
No,
superintendents,
two
superintendents,
supers, and the chief executive officer of the Superintendents of New England Club.
Do you ever worry that you kind of shooting your wad when you get that many guests on at the same time?
If he worried about that, he would have stopped the show right away.
I
don't know who mentioned stimp meter.
Yeah, that would have stopped it at stimp meter.
Do you know what a stimp meter is?
Yeah, that measures the speed of the greens.
All right,
Thank you.
All right, very good.
When you get
Thank
the
you, Chris.
supers together.
And now he's hitting the exit button as soon as I play into.
Well, these idiots didn't know. You know because
of course I know.
Yeah,
it tells me how badly I'm going to score today.
Right.
That stimp meter's low. Oh boy.
Oh, a good walk spoiled. All right, get him off. I can't take any more of this.
Enough.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Lady y'all.
All right, NBC Sports Boston. We'll be right back. We have a big contest that we need you to get involved in. poor North Andover said, "Oh, well, you just got to figure out how to get through the city." I don't go through the city to get there. I'm nowhere near the city to get. I'm going away. Everything's wet. It's west of the city, then north of the city. Not anywhere near the city. I take Route 9 to 95, to Route 2 to 495, to Country Road 4 to da-da-da-da-da.
Country Road 4. You make it sound like a trip through backwater Georgia. Country Road 4.
Over the Red Bud Bridge.
I used to, have that work at that station in Cumming, Georgia. Make your own jokes as you may. And that was now that's a bunch of people live there. But when I went there, I told you I had swap shot. There were chickens walking around the road. I turned that station off when I left at night. What do you mean you turned it off? I turned it off. I turned the transmitter off. I hit the off button.
It was only a daytime station. You had to power it down or you'd get an FCC ding if you didn't.
And I had to power it down at sunset.
Yep.
So I had to power it down at sunset. And then I had to turn it off when my shift was done.
That's right.
And it wasn't late.
No.
It's probably about 7, 8 o'clock.
Daytime or on the AM.
Yep.
Why don't you next time you got to go to North Andover, why don't you head up a little early? You got some good golf courses up there. Go play Far Corner. That's not too far from there.
You Googled it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it doesn't count. You Googled it.
Harold Parker State Park, man. Get a hike in.
But I've played Far Corner, and I
didn't have time. I had 4 minutes to I just made it to get him.
Up for the
or I would have had to follow a bus to Groton from North Andover. An hour and a half to get there.
Why don't you fly up to North Andover? The Lawrence Municipal Airport is very nearby.
I did notice that there was airport signs, like airplane, like when they have the cool airplane sign, and I was like, ooh. I wonder if people take like helicopters and things from the city to Andover.
That's the quickest way.
I mean, it's a beautiful town.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question that it's a pastoral New England town, and it was all in bloom.
Mm-hmm.
It was lovely. It seems like it would be a lovely place to live, but if you had to go anywhere, it would be horrible.
The Museum of Printing is close by.
I passed the Museum of Printing, as a matter of fact. I said, because I thought to myself, I had a lot of time to think. I thought to myself, I was with my daughter, but I said, there's a museum if you would like to go, Zoe. I made that point because we were at an hour and a half into conversation. There was not much left to say. And so I was pointing out the local museums. I was said, what museum could be here? What is it? Do you think there could be some heist at the printing museum? What do you think the security system is at the printing museum in North Andover?
Well, it looks to be a very stately brick building. There are different types of presses in there. There are old typewriters. I think that would probably be the biggest theft item because they're portable and you could actually make off with one of those. But these other things are too large to really be, I think, much of a threat to be stolen.
I'm writing my memoir currently on an old typewriter.
On an old typewriter?
Yeah, I love the clickety clack. That's what I miss.
Your memoir.
My memoir. I'm going to do an addiction memoir. No one's ever made one before. It's going to revolutionize publishing. All right, here is something that will revolutionize Mother's Day. There's a big contest in Cahoots going on right now. The Cahoots is the wrong word. But, of course, our friend Steven Singer from Steven Singer Jewelers, I Hate Steven Singer, is offering up brand new Blue Moon 24-karat gold dipped roses for everyone who participates in studio for this. And a winner he gets all jazzed up and starts giving away jewelry like nobody's business. But what we're looking for is not a May-December romance like we did for Valentine's Day.
No.
This is for Mother's Day. Here is the copy. Are you 10 years younger than your other siblings because you were unplanned? Did you accidentally get pregnant on prom night? Tell us how you were or had your Mother's Day mistake. Hit up the contest page at 985thesportshub.com. Fill out the entry form, including a photo of you and your parent or adult child. And you could be one of the 5 lucky pairs to join us in studio Tuesday, May 8th. Now, 5 seems like a bold number of pairs, but perhaps this can be done. Look, it's a fun thing. No one's looking to make fun of you. Basically, if you had a kid when you were super young or you had a kid when you were older and didn't expect to be having the kid.
Feel free to include a photo, too, of if there is a huge age discrepancy between you and one of your siblings, because I know a couple of people like that, and it's hysterical.
No, that's kind of, yeah.
They laugh about it too, like, oh, this is my 72-year-old brother. I'm like, you're my age. Why do you have a 72-year-old brother?
Did you ever read O.C. and Stiggs in National Lampoon's magazine? There was a story, O.C. and Stiggs, that Robert Altman made a movie of that's not very good. But they go to this boarding school and they have sluts to boxcar because they're girls that are of the result of men's fourth marriages. So their dads are like 90 and their girlfriends are like 30. And their point was that they were rather promiscuous because of the lack of a male role model.
Nice.
Was the idea behind that. But that's not what we're looking for here. The thing is this, is look, it's fun. I tell you, we had a friend who got pregnant. She already had, she was a second marriage. They had combined kids. They had like 4 kids. She got pregnant when she was like in her mid 40s, and she's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like it was fun. She was funny. And that's the thing. And now the kid's an adult or whatever, and you can't bring like a child in, like a little child. But if you have a kid that you had when you were like 50, and the kid's an adult now, you're like 70 years old, so it's fun to have you in and talk about it. You understand? So it's all fun. And you can get a lot of jewelry out of the whole
good
thing.
prizes. Steven Singer hooked people up last time.
Yeah, he brought in some kind of suitcase with jewelry, and he was throwing it all over the room. Go to 985thesportshub.com and fill that out. Give us a break, okay? They won a contest. We're giving them a contest. The last one was fun. Everyone had a good time. No one had a bad time. No one had a bad time. All right, very quickly, because I don't even understand it. Can you take line 2 that my phone's not working? Yes, Scott.
Why are you doing that contest?
Steven Singer wanted a contest, and it was the funniest thing we could come up with.
Why don't you do like hottest mom contest?
That was BCN. And it would also seem like
Oh,
a
you did that one
desperate attempt for me to meet a woman. No, we probably did.
No, Fred desperately wants to meet a woman with kids. He wants. That's what he's looking for.
You hit the nail on the head, my friend.
You having some fun traveling there for all these sports, huh?
Yeah, my son goes to school far away, but
Yeah, big AAU travel ball season.
It's not AAU travel ball; it's high school.
Oh, I love these type of people that travel all.
Your kid goes to King Philip.
My kid goes to King Philip. I did the AAU stuff for my senior
This
daughter.
isn't
I'll never do it
AAU.
again.
This isn't even AAU. This is his high school team.
Well, they're stupid for playing these teams that far away.
Gronin's where the school is. I don't know where he went. He's in the ISL.
Did you buy that car? Did you buy that car yesterday?
No, I didn't.
Good.
Fred, I got a story for you when I get in. My boy Tommy, I got a guy Tommy. I'll tell you about it when I get in. But when we landed, there was this couple that was miserable waiting for their luggage like us in Boston coming back from Florida. And I see like 6 boys with the baseball bags, with their bats sticking out, waiting for their luggage. And I pick up the bag and I go, hey, is this your bag? It says moron on it. I guess you got on a flight to play baseball for 6-year-olds.
Oh yeah, well that
Dumbest thing ever.
is pretty stupid. Yeah. That is. I will give you that. That's dumb. Very dumb. Yeah, if you have kids and you're thinking about making play travel, anything that's not hockey or tennis, save yourself the finances until they get older. All right, thank you, Scott. We appreciate it. There you go. There's Scott Zolak. No, my son goes to a high school that is far away. That's all I can say. He doesn't board there, so he needs to be picked up. All right, we will be back in just a moment.
He was considering the purchase of not one but 2 different automobiles yesterday. Both of them horrible ideas.
Well, listen, he paid his taxes, so he's got that out of the way. All right, that was a big hurdle for him, apparently. All right, here we go. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sport. number 19.
Tatum pull up. It's good.
Hear every playoff game right here. Your home for Boston Celtics basketball. WBC FM and HD1 Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Celtics are moving on to round 2 of the playoffs.
Tatum, right side, pull up on block. It's a 3 and it's good. Dude has been brilliant in the series. Brilliant.
That is Sean Grandy here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jason Tatum scored 35 points last night to lead the Green to a 120-89 win over Orlando. This was a close game into the third quarter, but Magic star Paolo Banchero picked up his 5th foul, and that was the end of the evening. Celtics win the series in 5 games. They'll play either the Knicks or Detroit in the Eastern Conference semifinals. That series is headed to a Game 6. The Pistons avoided elimination with a 106-103 win at Madison Square Garden last night. Indiana finished off Milwaukee in 5, 119-118 in overtime. They'll play Cleveland next. And Denver beat the Clippers 131-115 to take a 3-2 series lead. Patriots have released long snapper Joe Cardona, the longest tenured member of the team. Red Sox hit 5 homers. They won their 3rd in a row, 10-2 in Toronto last night. They'll continue their series with the Blue Jays again this evening. Lucas Giolito will start, and the NHL announced last night the draft lottery will be on Monday night. The Bruins finished with the 5th worst record in the league. They have an 8.5% chance of getting the top pick. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the $14.99 big deal meals at the 99, like the crispy fried twin catch with North Atlantic cod and crispy shrimp, available every Monday through Wednesday for just $14.99. You gotta love the 9s. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Get the
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
This is a listener submission. And Adam, explain what they did.
Yeah, this is from Erexi. Took and built a beat out of Van Halen's Right Now, and he found an old pre-Czarface 7L esoteric Inspector Deck a cappella, threw it over the top, and thought it was pretty good. Thought you'd appreciate it.
Who's this rapping?
I think now it's Essa. No, can't tell. Give me a second.
This is Inspector Deck.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Yeah, that's interesting. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, so when I was gone, there was a 2 stats and a lie, correct?
Yeah, because Andrew Callahan was in, and you know, credit again to Andrew Callahan for bringing 2 stats and a lie to the program. And since then, John has come up with 2 stats and a lie. I've come up with 2 stats and a lie. I don't think Fred has ever come up with them because he still doesn't understand how to play 2 stats and a lie.
Fair.
But Andrew was in here for a couple of days last week, and it was mentioned that, we should really have 2 stats and a lie. I didn't prepare one. I don't know who was sitting over there. It may have been Ryan Johnston. Could have been a Don Darrow day. I'm not sure. But, it was Don Darrow because it was Friday, because 12 was also gone, which meant Ryan Beaton, totally capable of putting together 2 stats and a lie, but he was busy. He was running the show that day. So instead, we had George. Now, if you're a listener to the midday show for years, you know of George. He is a fill-in producer. He interned on the midday show years ago, but now he's been hired on, and he's a fill-in guy, and he's great. Love George. Zolak might be in love with George. Yeah. I mean, it is a real relationship those two have. But I said, George, would you come up with 2 stats and a lie? Not only did George come up with 2 stats and a lie, but Jonah Hill style in Moneyball, he came up with 4.
Whoa.
I asked you to do 5 player evaluations. He did 52.
Right.
So George came up with 4 2 stats, I guess 8 stats, and 4 lies.
Okay. All right. I still don't know. I don't even understand.
This is going to go really well.
So what Ryan did, Ryan went back and found the original audio. He cut me and Callahan and Don Darrow, if he said anything during this, out of it, just so you could hear George putting out there the 2 stats and a lie. Now, again, when Andrew came in here and presented it as a brand new bit, and it immediately made sense, and it just worked. It just goes to show you that not everything you do in here on the show is easy, because George, well, his 2 stats and a lie sounded like this. George, what are the 2 stats and 1 lie? Go ahead. We're ready.
All right. Wrestling edition. All right. So as we all know, the Super Bowl of wrestling, WrestleMania 41, was last weekend. 2-night extravaganza. The last time WrestleMania was a one-night endeavor was pre-pandemic in 2019 for WrestleMania 35. All right. That is the stat.
Wait, what?
Instead of introducing the stat, he just went in and said, this is what happened, and then at the end, he's like, oh, by the way, that's a stat I just read you. So he didn't introduce it; he just started talking.
Okay. He made something I already found difficult impossible. It's like reading the original, something in original Latin text. Like I can't. You don't get the rhythm of it unless you learn Latin.
Go ahead. All right, let's see. Number 2, John Cena. We all know John Cena, right? You Can't See Me, Massachusetts native, right?
Yeah. Newbury.
Oh, yeah. So he came back to wrestling, and he came back to tie Ric Flair for his 16th championship reign with his win over Cody Rhodes this WrestleMania Sunday. John Cena, 16 championship.
Are these just? Is he making this up, or is he just saying things that happen?
I don't know. I mean, I was sitting here and I was playing the game, and I want to win the game, as we all do when we play it. I don't understand the game, and the game was invented by the guy who was like sitting here next to us, and he's looking at me. He said, "Are we playing it right now?" I said, "I don't know." I don't know if he's just talking or if
these are just interesting things
in the middle of 2 stats and a lie.
Yeah, he's like, John Cena, You Can't See Me, Massachusetts guy. Yeah, all right,
that's a stat right there.
Yeah, okay. It's a stat. He exists. Yeah,
16.
Just in case you know. Esoteric used to ghostwrite his stuff. Apparently, John Cena rapped at some point during his early wrestling career.
All right, so 3rd stat, Dominic Mysterio.
What?
Hang on.
Yeah, Dominic Mysterio. He's a big question. The riddle can't be answered.
All right, so 3rd stat, Dominic Mysterio won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Dominic and his father, Rey Mysterio. Dominic and Rey became the 3rd father-son duo to hold the Intercontinental Championship in WWE history.
How did this end?
Did it ever end?
Did you even play the game, or did you just
listen to him rattle stuff off?
We did. It took a while, but eventually George did reveal the answer.
All right. The stat that was incorrect was the John Cena. John Cena has surpassed Ric Flair. He's won 17 championships as of WrestleMania Sunday.
Dondero was right. Why are you celebrating?
So, again, there was confusion as to whether or not we had gotten it right with our answers, what he said. I'm not sure what happened.
Well, listen, you saw it to its fruition, which is the most important thing. Good for you for sticking with it.
So Callahan, in an epic analog troll job, insisted that George do the other 3 2 stats and a lie. I said, no, we're not doing any more. And we were in the middle of something else. It may have been like an interview in the 9 o'clock hour. And he just turned over to George and said, George, what was that other 2 stats and a lie? And he started doing it.
Okay.
There's one more we didn't get to. Do you want it?
Sure.
A kicker is one in MV.
I thought it was wrestling.
No, this one's football. A kicker is one.
Yeah, stupid.
A kicker is won an NFL MVP award. A wide receiver has never been awarded an NFL MVP.
That's not good.
Now we're all over the place. Celtics broke the NBA record for 3-point attempts per game with 48.2. All 3 years under Mazzulla, the Celtics teams are all in the top 10 in three-pointers attempted per game all time.
That counts as one. Those 2 things. I got it. Okay.
Speaking of three-pointers,
let me read
the way that she knew that she could feel was water. That's how they communicated to the blind and deaf girl.
I'm not giving George his due. Let me read that one again. Celtics broke the NBA record for three-point attempts per game with 48.2, semicolon. All 3 years under Mazzulla, the Celtics teams are all in the top 10 in three-pointers attempted per game all time.
And Bruno Sammartino was the Intercontinental Champion in 1982. Which one's a lie?
Harry Sinden had 4 separate coaching stints with the Boston Bruins.
Okay, very good.
I don't know. I think
Drew's got 2 stats, baby, but only one lie, maybe. 2 stats, 1 lie.
All right. Are you familiar with Matt Miller from ESPN?
I am.
You are? Okay, good.
Yes,
well,
he does NFL draft analysis.
Well,
correct?
he has ranked all 100 best picks, regardless of round.
Okay.
Okay.
The Patriots have a pick that is they don't have any picks until 17.
All right.
Which is the would you care to guess? It's not much of a stretch.
if it's not Will Campbell, is it the running back? The Ohio
Henderson.
State
It
running
is
back?
Will Campbell.
Oh,
He is at 17. Then I'm passing through many jet picks, so look out, world.
So, for instance, like the
number one is the receiver from Missouri.
Okay, all right, I understand.
Is that he likes where he was taken, and
I understand what he's
Ashton Genty was taken at 3. So it's like best value, best player,
Gotcha,
these things. He's going through it.
I got you.
I'm passing through all these jet picks. I can only envision the future for this team. It's going to be outstanding. All right, at 33. He gets loose a little bit at 33. The Patriots' next pick on the top 100.
Oh,
he gets loose.
All right, if he gets loose, that means it's a lower pick, and I'll say the edge rusher from LSU.
I'll say the kicker.
It is Jared not a kicker, the center, of course. Wilson was my top-rated center, and will get an opportunity to learn behind Garrett Bradbury.
I thought he was another short-arm guy.
For a season. Well, you can listen. You can be a dwarf and be the center for a team.
No, you can't. You got to reach back between your own legs.
But your legs are proportional to your arms. I mean, everything's even. As long as you're proportional, everything's great. Wilson's got agility. He shines in run blocking situations. He's developing his strength and anchor ability and pass protection.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as he's developing that stuff.
Yes. All right. Good. And I am still scrolling. I will get to the next pick. These are the top 100 picks. There's only been 2 by the Patriots. And now we are at number 46. So 3 in the top 50. Not bad.
Okay.
And you are right there with Travion Henderson.
The running back.
Yeah. Henderson will see the field early on third downs as both the best receiving back in the class and the best pass protector. Along with making an impact in the passing game, Henderson will have a major role in the Patriots' outside run game. So 3 of the top 50 picks. Now we're rolling, and we continue to look. There is no one from the Lions anywhere to be found. At 62, Kyle Williams.
All right.
Wide receiver.
Oh.
Williams stole the show with the Senior Bowl. With his quick feet and ability to win one-on-one situations, the Patriots did well in drafting linemen, protect Drake May. But this pick was also important in giving May young receiving threats with a deep speed and special route running. It is funny that the Patriots are getting a lot of credit for getting offensive players as if there was a lot of other options. You know, like they gave Drake May help. Well, yeah, there's 2 sides of the ball. They drafted people on offense and they drafted people on defense.
Well, yeah, they filled up the roster with defensive players in free agency, so they were kind of forced to go in that direction.
But it's like maybe they had a great draft. Who effing knows? Like, it's funny. Right. I heard people calling shows like complaining or applauding, and it's like, who knows? But why would you give them credit for protecting Drake May as part of like that? The draft was great. There's only because if running backs, receivers, and linemen all count on protecting Drake May, then what's there's only one other option unless you go kicker, wild card the mother effer.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Jesus, you got a center in the 3rd round. All right, you're acting like
great value right there, Fred.
It's like, well, maybe it is great value.
Luther Burden, who according to Mike Giardi's a turd, but still the number one guy on that list.
I mean, there couldn't be more different opinions on this stuff. It's absolutely fascinating. I mean, I've seen people kill teams' drafts and then it be someone's favorite draft. like Buffalo's draft's getting killed locally by Buffalo fans because they didn't get a receiver. You heard the GM from Buffalo. He went off on this like radio show. They're very fortunate it happened. And they reacted in not a great way. They should have gotten into it with the guy, but they kind of just sat there. But you could tell they were standing up, so they were a little amateurish.
Oh, okay.
But but then there's people that think Buffalo had the best draft. So who hell knows? It's very frustrating for us draft experts. You understand?
Oh. Yes.
I just see them throwing around this riffraff information, and I don't like it. Have a consensus opinion. I'll tell you what, they all love Shedeur Sanders. They all love, and that might have been the worst pick in the draft.
Where is Sanders on that list?
It's like in the top 10.
Yeah, because of the value, because he was 5th round, projected to be higher.
You cannot like Cleveland's draft. There's no way you can like Cleveland's draft. You can't.
I don't know. I read 5 guys that have them in the top 3.
Because they're married to their analysis of Shedeur Sanders. If you love the Shedeur Sanders pick, then you don't love that draft because then they peed away their 3rd round pick.
Yep.
On a little tiny quarterback. It's like, so if you think Shedeur Sanders is that great and that great value at 5, that's great. You might think that was a great pick, but that draft now is not a good draft because they wasted a 3rd rounder on a guy that is conceivably never going to play.
And you traded away the opportunity to take a possible generational player to take a defensive lineman.
Yeah, but that's getting into the weeds. I mean, they acquired picks and they still got Mason Graham. That great, whatever. But I'm just saying that the fact that you took a quarterback in the 3rd round and took a quarterback in the 5th round, and if the kid that you love so much is the kid they took in the 5th round, then the 3rd round was a wasted pick. They already have a backup quarterback on that roster. They already have a guy to back up. They have 3 backups on that roster. You didn't. That team absolutely did not need to draft 2 quarterbacks. Under any scenario did they need to do that. So giving that draft an A+ just means that you love Shedeur Sanders, and that's great. But it's the totality of the draft, my friends. The totality of the thing. All right, we'll be back with emails. This is going to be a good email segment. We got a lot of emails and about current affairs, and we will read them to you in just a moment.
More toucher and
idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
No, because they take capital gains out, I think, when you file. I would be very surprised if you have to file a claim. All right, so here we're talking about 520.
What is this, Bloomberg 92.9?
There was just a commercial for 529s on the station. I listen to the commercials. I think it's valuable. I love the commercials and our sponsors. I don't know about you, where your head's at, Adam, but that's the way I am.
Just saying, if you want to talk more about that, there's a station down the hall. It'd be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a good fit for you. You buried that thing like you buried FNX and BCN.
Wow. Put it on the list.
Damn.
Jesus.
Give me some more time with this.
All right, Cousin Oliver.
Don't forget Radio BDC.
That's right.
Well, speaking of stuff with the B, Rob says BDSM I would be referring to. And I'm reading this for a reason that I'll explain. Fred, I'm a longtime listener and genuine fan of you and your work. I've never called or reached out, but for some reason I feel compelled, maybe my fandom, to ring the alarms of red flags of the greatest coach in Pat's history's current relationship. I feel that BB started a cute thing with Jordan. However she comes off, dresses and carries herself as a dominatrix. I think that interview interaction is further evidence BB is locked up and basically locked in this relationship. And I find it highly entertaining and fascinating. I think the ultimate collaring happened when Bill leaked the video of BB coming out of the house shirtless. Remember that. Thanks for reading, Rob. Now, I bring this up because this theory was brought to me by someone that I know. And they have no knowledge of the relationship. I'll just say that right now. But I'm since I've gotten sober and gotten divorced, I've attained more information about people's lives. Apparently, this is a theory going around in a certain community. Is that sometimes men of great power, Fat Mike is a guy. Fat Mike from NoFX.
Okay.
Like, he's a guy. This is a guy who's open about it. They have relationships where the woman is the man in his own life. He because he's such a leader. Like, you know, Fat Mike is the leader of a label and a band.
Mm-hmm.
That in their personal lives, that's where the humiliation comes in. The self-wanted humiliation. By the way, Burt Breer, breaking down the email that Jordan released, claims that there's no way Bill Belichick wrote that. That's not Bill Belichick that wrote it. And he points to several things in the email that Bill Belichick would never say as title of the piece instead of article.
So now she has control.
Headline.
She has
instead
control
of headline
of his email account and is sending out emails from his account.
Not that, John. Only that, John. She's sending emails as him.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And Bert was friends with Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
There's something to what you're saying too, Fred. Are you familiar as you're learning about these new areas of there's different.
By the way,
of,
I have no interest in being dominated. So anyone gets that idea and we go out and then you try any of that nonsense, I'm out the door.
Well, what I was about to say, there's different types of it. Fat Mike talks about this a bit, but there's you know what FinDom is? Are you familiar with that
No,
genre
I'm
of
not.
domination?
I don't know very much about it except for this piece of information.
But I'm willing to learn.
Okay, so FinDom is when these rich, powerful guys pay a woman to be in charge of their finances.
Okay, yeah.
So it's less about, I mean, there can be a sexual aspect to it, but it's more about that kind of, I've built up all this power and all this capital, literal capital money, and I'm going to give it to someone else, this hot woman, and she's going to play around with it, and she's going to spend money on stuff, and she's going to put me on an allowance, and she's going to do all this. So, I mean, it stands to reason he's a rich, powerful guy.
Now, I know about, I have heard about that. I didn't know the term for it.
Yeah,
and I've
FinDom.
heard, because it's the most fascinating thing in the world. People just getting paid from dudes that they don't even like meet. It's very
FinDom.
FinDom.
But
like
while
financial,
financial domination, FinDom.
Well, ever since we started talking about Bill Belichick's relationship, which I got in I'll read this. It says, Fred, I apologize. This is from Brian. He says, I apologize for calling your obsession with Belichick's relationship weird. I could have cared less until the news that he fell in love with he claims came out with the name I'm not saying came out now, and I can't get enough. Again, my apologies. I don't think he wrote that email though. The terminology was used is a bit closer to a student than a 78-year-old man. Sincere apologies, Brian. So people are coming around to, I got a lot of heat. You guys were thankfully supportive of me and involved in this whole process too. But as is most things, I get the negativity towards my way.
Yeah.
I'm more acerbic maybe than you guys in my analysis of this. But I have gotten this a few times, not lately, but we did get this call.
Murph, go ahead. Yeah, Fred, I mean, no one's disagreeing. Is he a creep show? Yes. But the sick, sad desperation in your voice, just reeking of jealousy that you will never be in the club. You will never be in the can bang or has banged hot girls club. The best you will do is a middle-aged TV dinner cat lady. And it's just shining through, man. You won't do it. So you got to give it up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You've hit the nail on the head,
It's
Murph.
jealousy.
Congratulations.
And just for the never have part, I do want to say I have a very good relationship with my ex-wife, and she's quite an attractive woman. I mean, that's been brought up by many people, and esoterics dissing me. It says that your wife, I was currently married, your wife is too hot for you. So whatever might be happening now, maybe he's right.
And
but,
if you
but
really
in the past, I do feel like the need to defend my ex-wife. She's an attractive woman.
Yeah,
and if you feel free to marry her.
If you want.
The alimony at that point will stop.
If you really want that insult to
and
land,
we can become good friends.
You want that insult to land, don't go TV dinner cat lady, go lean cuisine cat lady. Because who eats the hungry man?
Yeah. That might even be beneath me. But who knows? Maybe he's right. And psychologically, this is my obsession with it. Amy says, responding to the caller just now, which was that one, Fred, I believe that you can meet, charm, and have consensual sex with an attractive lady of any age. Also, as a middle-aged cat lady, I would not sleep with Bill Belichick even if he bought me 2 Versace purses. So that's a middle-aged cat lady saying that she wouldn't even sleep with Bill Belichick. I do not get the fetishization of sleeping with a young girl, though. Like, I honestly don't understand that. Like, this idea that because he had sex with someone that he met maybe when she was 20 is somehow like an achievement.
Yeah.
How is a girl that's 20 in any way hotter just for a fact than someone who's 30 or 40?
Oh,
honestly.
Yeah, and I would argue, I mean, in many cases, less hot. And then there's the whole creepy aspect of it. 20, there's a chance her bones are still lengthening at age 20.
Well, your brain's not fully developed till 25.
Right. It's not even really a grown-up yet.
Like this notion of like that every guy wants to have sex with a 20-year-old, regardless of their age, is, I think, a false notion.
I agree with you. I do like
I swear to God, don't have any interest in having sex with a 20-year-old. Like, if it happened, it happened. And I'm only 30 years older than him. But it's not something I'm in any way pursuing. And it would be a very big obstacle to overcome. Like, it would make me very much less likely to do it. I probably wouldn't do it. I'm now thinking about it. I would not have sex with a 20-year-old.
No.
I wouldn't. I'd have sex with someone in their 20s, but I wouldn't have sex with a 20-year-old. My sister is single. Hey, Fred, I could hook you up with my childless middle-aged cat mom sister, who also has bad dental hygiene if you're interested. Well, I'm not one to turn anyone away, Sean.
Sure.
So keep those emails coming.
Fred, Sarah from Everett. Fred is again, going on the attack against you, Fred. Fred is the punk rock trust fund version of a Grateful Dead fan. My friend from Beverly Hills' favorite band was NoFX. Do fact-checking on Fred and his music statements. He's wrong 1 to 3 times. Harry Flanagan / Cro-Mags.
Harvey Flanagan. Did she write
Harley?
It's Harley Flanagan. Did she write Harvey?
She wrote Harley.
Okay.
Flanagan / Cro-Mags was not agnostic front.
No, he was not in an agnostic front. I didn't say that. He was in the Cro-Mags.
I actually went to those shows.
I interviewed him. I've met him.
Not read about them.
He screwed John Joseph over very badly.
Sarah
called the cops on him. NoFX aren't my favorite band, and I have a trust fund. I would like to know where it is.
Well, do you have an interest in that pickleball court that they're building at Tellico Village?
Oh, that's just I mean,
an equity stake in the will.
Oh, certainly. I mean, certainly. There's a fortune coming to me.
There
It's just not in a trust.
It is probably in kind of a will and trust, not a traditional trust fund, but there is a trust, and there's plenty in it for you. Don't?
Yeah,
you
I mean,
worry
my
about
parents do own property in Tellico Village, which is like it's essentially Palm Springs or Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Hey, Trump has a property there.
I just want to have Sarah back in studio when things get slow in the summer. We can do a segment talking about hardcore punk.
I think we touched the sun. I think we're done with
Yeah,
this.
I don't know how often Sarah has to come in.
Hey, Hardy, how do I sign up for that contest? My parents had my brother in 1975, then me 12 years later. I was a whoopsie. Go to the contest page, 985thesportshub.com.
Yeah, if they'll come on and talk about how you were a mistake in front of you,
yeah,
that would be great fun. That's where the fun comes in. We're setting you up for success. Just a parent saying their kid was a mistake automatically gets a laugh.
It's a win all around. You're going to leave with a prize, and you are going to be part of a great radio bit that you can tell all your friends to listen to and watch on YouTube. Hit that contest page. Get entered.
Ken said you should preemptively send one of those Blue Moon roses to Bill Belichick. You know Jordan is doing everything possible to get pregnant.
Good luck with that, dude. If you think that guy's got the ability to get someone pregnant, that's a tough hill to climb. I wouldn't be so worried about that if I was him. That's the last of my things. But John made the point.
I'm really
that's
scared
sticking
for
with
him
me.
now. Yeah.
Is there's no getting out of this thing clean.
Not a
because the
chance.
minute this thing ends, she's on every podcast known to man. She's starting her own podcast. I mean, she loves social media. She's in this to get famous. I mean, that's a fact. That's undebatable. I go to court with that. You put yourself in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. You start putting all this stuff on social media. You're looking for attention. Go ahead.
There's only one way out, is if she decides to call it off. She decides that she's had enough.
It doesn't matter. Unless he pays her off in such a way that she signs an NDA.
Yeah,
but
and that's not happening.
But does she want money or fame? What would you think she would prefer? Just a bunch of money and never talking about this again? Or the opportunity to turn this into a press junket and a book and
option
a
B
movie.
all day long.
But I understand what Wallach is saying. There's less of a chance of it going really bad and her doing the whole exposure tour if she breaks it off as opposed to Bill.
I don't think it matters.
I think it matters a little bit.
If it matters, shades of gray. But yes, it's less damaging if she calls it off.
And you think that will stop her from going around and talking about the relationship openly? In the foibles and talk about their sexual relationship. You think that would take that out of it?
I think it lessens the chance that she does that. Yes.
Okay, I've been right about everything so far, and I think that there's no scenario where that doesn't happen.
It won't, maybe
unless he dies while they're married.
It won't be as vicious if she breaks it off. If he breaks it off,
John,
then
if she
craziness.
talks about his penis for 1 second, it's the greatest thing that ever happened.
It's true.
We used to make the joke about Bill Belichick having a tattoo that you could only see when he was in the shower, like a Bon Jovi tattoo.
Yep.
Just the notion of him being naked is hysterical. The ring camera thing was the greatest. He just had his shirt off.
Yeah.
The notion of her even going, when we were having sex, Bill at 73, having sex, that is... Dude, that's horrible for him.
I'm actually scared for him at this point.
All right,
I am,
and this is already this is something I've been saying a long time. Fred, the reporter took the gloves off when Jordan said we're not talking about this. He was eternally saying, "Then why are you here?" The producer said, "F it. There's no other reason to hold back on questions now. She's giving us nothing." It is actually really sad to see the coach of the Patriots dynasty become a shell of his former self, and that is absolutely a correct assessment of what's happening. There, she single-handedly turned that into a disaster. They had no intention of going in there and making it salacious, but they did want to talk about the relationship because that's why they were interviewing him. He's only interesting because of that relationship.
No.
So they knew the questions were coming, and the questions were easy. Everyone's obsessed with your relationship. How do you deal with it?
How did you
I'll
guys
tell
meet?
you what. It's interesting. I try to avoid that stuff, but, it is what it is, and, I'm happy. Boom. How'd you guys meet? On an airplane.
How did you guys meet?
On an airplane.
Not talking about this.
We met on an airplane and, we communicated, and then eventually years later it turned into a romantic relationship. Boom. How hard was that to do? How hard was that to answer? And by the way, you put out on social media, I'm 500 years old. You put out on social media yesterday your email or your,
You faxed it to everybody.
Yeah, you put your telegraph all over the place. You Pony Express that
You
son
took
of a
out
bitch
an
out.
ad.
She put on social media the social media post from how many years ago about how they met. That was already she put out.
Yeah.
And she put that out as to block the notion that they met in some other way, which is only existing because she did what she did in that interview. I can't tell you how badly she effed up, and that's her job. That's what Bill has entrusted her to do, and she couldn't be. Guys, it could not have gone worse. Like, there's no way. She made a pap nothing interview into a total disaster, and it won't sell books because the book has nothing to do with his personal life.
He's not even in the acknowledgement section.
No, but his creative muse, Jordan Hudson, is in the
His
acknowledgement.
creative muse.
I mean, he's out of his mind. He's hired the most incompetent, literally the most incompetent person I've ever seen in that job. It could not be worse. Deion Sanders did Shador more favors during the draft. I mean, I'll tell you what, I bet you there's never been a CBS morning news segment that's gone sideways like this. I can tell you that. And I was on the...
Were you on
thing.
it?
I like saying that.
I hadn't picked up on that.
Not because it makes me feel good, but because I believe it gives me credibility.
Huh.
That these are designed to be puffy, puff pieces. There's a reason I'm saying
Based on
it.
your experience.
It wasn't about me. It wasn't about me. It was about Gorman. I'm not claiming it was me, but they're all they want to do is nice things.
Not talking about this.
Oh, boy, it's mind-boggling. And then she's releasing emails the next day. It's like, what? This is damage control? What are you doing? There's 4 stories we came in with today from yesterday.
Statement to follow, which oddly enough hasn't happened yet.
She releases some email that Bill probably didn't even write about. I mean, it's shenanigans. It's almost like she's deliberately undermining him. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, holy moly, has he got no control of his life? It's fascinating.
A lot of shenanigans goes on.
And by the way, why another reason it's so great is he's a bully and a dick, and that's why. And that's why I'm taking such great satisfaction. If he was a normal, nice person, it wouldn't be this fun to me. But since he's such a bully and a dick, and he can't even answer any question like a human being, good
Not
for
talking
him.
about this.
Yeah, good mess you got yourself in now, and there's no getting out of it. You prick.
Correct.
All right, here are the headlines.
No.
If your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
There's not a lot of time left in the show, but we owe you this Stack segment, which is available for sponsorship.
It is. How much money do you have to have before you just literally throw it away on stuff that you know is not going to make money? Does Billy Corgan have that kind of money?
Yeah.
He probably does.
I would imagine so.
He owns a tea shop in Chicago. Okay? Last October, a car drove over a curb and right into the front window of Madame Zuzu's, which is his tea shop in Chicago. Okay? And it's actually in Highland Park, so I guess it's not like, prime real estate. All right, so that's bad. Maybe that's a sign that you've made a bad investment, and, it's just an omen. Guess what happened again? Another car crashed into the front of Madame Zuzu's tea shop. Thank you, Adam. They posted on Instagram. The tea house says that a car struck our cafe. Thankfully, no one was injured, unlike last time when his mother was in there with his mother-in-law was in there with her grandson at the time of the
Henny
accident.
Youngman joke.
With the mother-in-law?
Yeah, just like a mother-in-law joke.
Yeah. But a second car now has driven through the front window of Billy Corgan's tea shop, which can't make any money. It's a tea shop.
No, I've never even heard of a tea shop. But it is interesting that...
They have them in the malls sometimes. They'll have a tea shop in the mall.
Yeah, it's a Native Collections had one.
Yeah.
See, if you drive through a front door at night, you're assuming it's someone who's wasted.
Isn't
if you
it
drive through something during the day, you assume it's a very old person.
Yes.
Perhaps it's Bill Belichick. Losing control of the vehicle.
What happened to that dude who
dominated.
What happened to that dude who drove through the window of the Apple store? Was that at the Derby Street shops?
That was the Derby Street shops.
Yeah, in Hingham. That was a weird one.
And the
You remember
lady
that?
drove
No.
into
It
the
was
actual
bad.
mall and was driving around the mall a couple of
Blues
years
Brothers
ago.
style.
This is a big mall.
Look out, Muppets.
There's a guy that has the best show. It's called The Best Show. He used to be on the radio. The drummer for Bob Mould.
Yeah, we're going to see him on Friday.
Yeah, Adam and I are going to the Bob Mould show. And it turns out Milo does not have a game that day. So, Adam, I'm yours. Whatever you want to do, baby.
All right.
I actually got an email about that.
Yeah, I did too. We can share that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you want to get out of here. I got a lot of emails today. All right. Very good. That'll do it for us. Yeah, Rick, he says, please encourage John Worster to grab the mic for a song or two. As Philly boy Roy, I asked him to come on the show, and he said, could we put a pin in it?
Yeah.
So that's not happening.
Sad.
So if you want to reach out to John Worster
I will.
on Instagram and just be like, dude, this show's huge. We just had Doughboy Guy on. And then you can go ahead and
Can
do
have
that.
Adolfo interview him again.
Nope. All right.
It was okay.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Talk to you tomorrow. Toucher and Hardy.